Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh, man, let's just play it, and then we'll talk about everything that happened. Jake Tapper yesterday.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside his home in Woodbridge, Virginia this morning.
Okay, so Jake Tapper, this is Jake Tapper's, see how many of you know this reference. This is Jake Tapper's thrill down the leg moment. Remember that with Chris Matthews with Obama's first State of the Union on MSNBC? This is his thrill down the leg moment. You know, there's so much to discuss with the pipe bomber. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, and welcome those of you who are new, and hello to old friends. All right, so much to say about all of this. Before we get into Jake Tapper and his thrill down the leg moment, fake Tapper, yes. You know, I've been listening to all of the analysis, and I haven't heard on the cable news and all this, I haven't heard any of them say what the elephant is in the room. Now, Dan Bongino and Kash, when they came out yesterday at the press conference with Judge Janine, which I thought it was pretty cool that they were calling her Judge Janine, you know, still, and Pam Bondi, they said there was no new evidence. There was, they didn't do any interviews. They just went through the evidence that was sitting around. And the way that all of the pundits, including the legal analysts, I don't care what cable network you're watching, the ones I've seen, and they're saying, well, they didn't want to get to the bottom of this pipe bomber on J6 because, you know, they were afraid of what his political allegiance was, right? And there's variations of that, but that is mostly what we're hearing. That is complete nonsense, complete and total BS, no doubt about it, okay? We all know what's going on here. The Chris Wray FBI, they knew who the pipe bomber was. Do you agree with that? And they made a decision not to pursue and arrest the individual because they are black. That's it. It's as obvious and as plain as day. I mean, look, yesterday, look what's happened to Letitia James as an example, right? She's committed mortgage fraud multiple times, been doing it forever. One liberal judge tossed it out. Another grand jury in Virginia refused to indict. This is black privilege going on here. But there's no doubt in my mind, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, that the auto pen administration of Joe Biden knew who the J6 pipe bomber was. They found out he was black. They didn't pursue it. And so far as all the records, now it doesn't look like they destroyed anything. That would be a crime, right? Destroying evidence. But they mixed everything up. Like they took everything and just threw it all in, mixed it all up and everything else. So that if you went through it, it would take many months to get to the conclusion if you ever got that far. So I want to hear from you guys. I know it is Open MAGA Mike Friday. It is open phones on Friday's show. So the show prep's up to you guys. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. But there's some big news here, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Do you believe that the Chris Wray, Joe Biden, FBI knew the identity of the J6 pipe bomber, found out he was African American, and did not pursue it because of that? I do. I want to hear your thoughts on that. You know, another thing is, what was the process? How many people did that have to go through before they could get the okay on that? It wasn't just Chris Wray. It's the entire Justice Department, even the White House. They had to get the auto pen to even agree with that, right? I mean, that's a big decision. They've identified a domestic terrorist, and they make a decision not to pursue, not to question, not to bring him in, not to arrest him, not to get a warrant to search his home or anything else, because he's black. How many people had to sign off on that to make it happen? And, you know, what's completely insane is that so many people had to sign off on it, they all thought it was perfectly fine. Oh, I just heard from Mike, the board op. He is running late. Oh, boy, he's going to be in the radio station around 6:15, he said. Okay, so we're going to be in pre-radio for a while. I went to my first Christmas holiday party last night, so I got to bed hours later than I normally would, and I knew this was coming up for a few weeks, so I was going to take today off, but I came in today, came in. I'm in my home studio. My bedroom's right over here, but I came in today. I came in today because we had this breaking news, and I think it's important to talk about the elephant in the room. You know, when this story broke, if the media would have done some proper analysis, I might have taken the day off. And I'm listening to all of these people, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Now, let me talk a little bit about Tapper here.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside his home in Woodbridge, Virginia this morning.
Okay. So this identifying him as a white guy. The last time I saw the liberal, by the way, if you're on hold, hang in there. The last time I saw the liberals do that was the Boston bombing. You guys remember this? This was crazy. The Boston Marathon bombing. How many years ago was that? Does anyone remember? When was the Boston bombing? What year was that? It's been a long time. When we saw what happened, we knew what happened. We knew what happened at the marathon, right? We knew it was Islamic terrorism. Everyone knew it. No one would say it. And Shepard Smith was still on Fox News at the time. And I remember Shepard Smith saying, well, you know, in Boston, the power transformers are at the sidewalk level, and this looks like a transform. Give me a break, you know? I mean, just so ridiculous. And then they had this very, very grainy 2013. Okay, 2013. So 12 years ago, they had this very grainy street camera footage because it was 2013, and you really couldn't see the guys too well, the two brothers, but they looked white. And I remember the media was so excited. They even had the local police investigators even had a press conference, and they held up the photo. They were so excited. Do you remember this? They were so excited to find out that the Boston bombers were white before they arrested them. They were like high-fiving each other on TV. They couldn't hide their glee. And then we found out they were whitish Muslims. And then, you know, the virtue signaling and the liberalism that was going on during the Biden regime to allow a domestic terrorist to go free because he's black. Look at what Donald Trump has saved this great country from. What would America have been like? What would America have been like if Kamala Harris or Biden had another term? What would have gone on in this country when you have things like this happening? This is a pretty scary thing. Now, I'll tell you a couple other things, too. They interviewed his grandmother over the phone. She said he's kind of autistic. They're saying that he's got some issues. I don't know. Okay, maybe. But so what? You know, there's a few questions that I was hoping to get asked. When they arrested him, was he surprised? When they went to his house, was his family surprised? Right? I saw a photo of his brother who had his face all covered up with a hoodie and everything. Was the brother surprised? Judge Janine was on Fox last night, and she said they found all kinds of other detonators and stuff like this in the home. So, were the parents surprised? And, here's the thing. You can recognize people by their stance. You ever had this happen? I've recognized celebrities in crowded public places from behind just on their stance. And there's no way that his family did not know that was him over the last 5 years with all the J6 pipe bombing videos and images. Of course they knew. They knew because of his stance and the clothing, and that he had detonator materials and things inside the house that he lived in with his parents. I mean, come on. Here's another thing that I haven't heard. There's all these elephants in the room with this case, and I haven't heard anybody comment on any of them. And it just burns me listening to the pundits. The only time that I really go to cable news for news is when there's a breaking story like this. But in the last few months, they're even getting phased out of that. You're getting information faster on X, aren't you? If you're on hold, you hang in there. We're still in post-show. Mike the Board Up's running a little late. He'll be in about 8 to 10 minutes at the radio station. So this is still pre-show time. Although we're supposed to be on the radio right now. That's okay. That's okay. It's all the same to me. There's all these elephants in the room, okay? How did he hatch this plan on January 6th to put these pipe bombs there? Right? We know that his father, his bail bonds company, that he did some work for. I don't know what that is. I don't know if they're going to go with this Down syndrome thing, and I don't know. But that there was some Benjamin Crump connection. Remember Benjamin Crump? The Trayvon lawyer, who was he for a short time he had a run as the new Al Sharpton, Johnny Cochran. There was a lot of work that they were a bail bonds company specializing in getting illegals bonded out of jail, and of course we're in Virginia where the whole bureaucracy and deep state and permanent Washington class live. How did he know to do these and plant these there at that time? Don't forget, the guy who made the video of Ashley Babbitt's murder was Black Lives Matter. He was wearing MAGA gear from head to toe, but he was Black Lives Matter. Remember that? I can't remember his name offhand, but he was BLM. So this guy here, I do not accept, and I would like to hear your thoughts on this as well. I don't accept that he's a lone wolf pipe bomber. I don't accept that at all. This guy is first off, he's in the heart of the deep state permanent Washington class bureaucracy in Virginia, right? Yeah, no doubt about it. Why didn't these bombs go off? Was it a decision that someone made not to detonate them? Did they malfunction? There's all kind. If you're on hold, stand by. There's many questions, and as the discussion goes on, there's going to be even more questions. So some of the ones I've asked so far that I would like to hear your thoughts on. One, do you agree with me that the Chris Wray, Joe Biden, Otto Penn, FBI, and Justice Department knew the identity of the J6 pipe bomber, and they let him go because he's black? Do you agree with that? I do. There's just no way. No way. Number two, do you believe he was a lone wolf pipe bomber, or was he is he another patsy like the Charlie Kirk assassin and others? Is he another patsy, or did he do this on his own? And we all know everything that went down on January 6th, but we didn't know what was going to go down then. Why would he have done that on that day at that time? To me, it looks like a part of a larger plot to me. And if it turns out he has Down syndrome or a slight bit of it, like his grandma told the news on a phone interview yesterday. That makes him even more perfect for them to recruit. But I say patsy. That may be one of the reasons, on top of him being African American, that they didn't arrest him in the Otto Penn administration. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. Now, this thing, and then again here with Jake Tapper.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosions. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside.
Okay, so what's fake Tapper doing here? Is he gaslighting? Is he knowingly lying? You know, one thing I've noticed with liberals over the years, it's like when you're a kid in school and you got a bad report card, you put off giving it to your parents as long as you possibly can, right? You know it's going to catch up to you eventually, but every day you can put it off, every hour, it just, it's a little better, right? I find that's true with the Trump derangement suffering fake news media, right? They know things, they know you're going to find out about things, but the longer they can go without you finding out about it, they put it off, like, me trying to hide my report card when I'm in 5th grade or something, right? Because I got some Fs. If this guy was white, would he have been arrested by the Chris Wray FBI? There's so many questions. Here's another one, too, that's very important. In your mind, do you believe Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were vindicated now? It looks like this was a very difficult investigation. While all the evidence was there, Chris Wray and his team made sure it was left behind in as big of a mess and as difficult to track down as possible. And it looks like that Dan Bongino in particular has spent most of his time, day and night, going after this, trying to identify the pipe bomber behind the scenes. So that being the case, do you feel that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel have been vindicated? I would say, based on what we know at this moment in time, yeah. Listen, we're all impatient. I'm impatient. But, in many ways, this arrest is more important than the Comey indictment. And by the way, the Comey indictment is going to come back. So there's a lot of questions here. And the frustration I have of watching the pundits cover this and leave all of these things out is beyond frustrating. Now, we're going to be on the radio shortly. Mike's running a little late, so I'm waiting to get a text from him. He'll tell us when we're going to be on the radio. So if you're on hold, you hang in there. We're going to take some calls when the radio show starts, so you'll be heard by more people if you hang in there. This is, of course, little old me, Brian Craig, where MAGA comes to talk. And I want to remind you guys that, of course, Mike Lindell is a major supporter of this program, supporting all of my pre-radio show content. And after this month, if we have a good showing of sales from you using my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com, it'll become a permanent thing. We'll make a deal after the first of the year that's going to make it permanent. So please go to mypillow.com, do your Christmas shopping. There's still plenty of time. We'll be right back. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716 716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out, and every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's W-O-R-X. And view the inventory. You will be impressed. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel. All right, we will be on the radio in 1 minute. So callers on hold, hang in there. Okay, I'm just talking to the mic. Okay. Let's see. Okay. 30 seconds, guys. Call those on hold. Stand by. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Welcome on this Friday. Now, it is Friday. It's open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday, where the show prep is up to you all. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. It is fair game. However, we have major breaking news, which is developing constantly with the pipe bomber. And I'm going to open up talking about this. And if you're on hold, stand by. And while it is open phones, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. I hope to hear your comments, though, about some of these things. Now, the pipe bomber, 5 years later, we finally get the arrest. And we find out that the pipe bomber is black. Although Jake Tapper over at CNN doesn't want to let that sink in.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce.
Okay, so he's identifying him as a white man even though he's black. I guess maybe he's white on the inside. I don't know. Jake Tapper making a fool out of himself with a lot of wishful thinking and trying to manifest something. Here is, I've got a lot of questions to ask, and I'm going to ask the first one, and then I'm going to take some calls. Here's the first question. Do you believe that the Chris Wray FBI and that the Biden Otto-Penn administration knew the identity of the J6 pipe bomber and did not pursue it when they found out he's black? Do you think that's what happened? I'm here to tell you I do. The press conference with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi yesterday was very interesting, and it was fascinating that they did not interview any new witnesses or take in any new evidence. This was all evidence that was left behind by Ray and his team from the AutoPen administration. Well, they didn't destroy evidence so far as we know. However, there was a lot of evidence, and it looks like it was a big mess. Like they took all the files. They don't want to destroy anything. You've committed felonies, right? So it doesn't look like they've destroyed evidence, but it looks like they took the evidence. They took all the files and put them in some massive government clothes dryer and mixed everything up and then tossed it back in there for the mess and said, good luck. The needle in the haystack is right here. I think that's what happened. I think they identified this guy and they didn't pursue it. They didn't charge him. They didn't arrest him because they found out he is black. Look at Letitia James, right? Some liberal judge tossed out her mortgage fraud indictment. A left-wing grand jury in Virginia yesterday, in the place where you can indict a ham sandwich, refused to indict Letitia James on mortgage fraud, which everyone knows she's done. There's definite black privilege here. But when you look at the pipe bomber and them not pursuing it and allowing him to get away with it, what would this country have been like if those people would still be running it, if Trump had not been reelected? Holy smokes. All right, so let's take some of your calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, now, hold on, guys. Hold on a second here. I did not connect the phones, so I'm going to have to do that during the break. I apologize, guys. I had my first Christmas holiday party that I went to last night, so I went to sleep many hours later than I normally would, okay? So I knew about this event that I went to last night a few weeks ago, and my plan was to take today off, because I had the thing. I left earlier than I had originally planned on leaving, and I came in today because of this breaking news. But hold on, let me grab something. Bear with me, guys. Hold on. You can listen to Jake Tapper while I connect the phones.
Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside his home in Woodbridge, Virginia this morning.
Oh, boy. Jake Tapper, he's never going to live that one down. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike. Hold on, Mike. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can do better. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Not much better than Mike. It's going to be one of those days. All right, I'll put you back on hold. All right, Mike, I put you up. The caller after you wasn't available, so you got lucky. What's on your mind, Mike from Louisiana?
What Jake Tapper is doing is, first off, this guy is a DEI guy, and he's maybe
a DEI guy. What does that mean? That they went out and recruited and what do you mean he's a DEI guy, Mike?
Well, no. Let me amend that. Let me amend what I'm going to say.
What does that mean?
What Jake Tapper is talking.
You mean
about,
they had do you mean that the pipe bombs they had better patsies, but they picked this patsy because he's black?
Yeah, he's calling him black. He's calling him white.
Okay.
Oh, in his mind, this guy is identifying as white.
Oh, I see. All right, I see. All right, good save, Mike. Oh my goodness. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
All right, hello.
Yeah, turn down the volume in the background. Turn down the volume in the background.
My apology.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Great show you're listening to, but it was a little loud. Actually, that was my favorite show you got on in the background.
But yeah, I'm going to say Aaron from Ohio. And let's see, I was wanting to talk about more of the Republicans' issues with trans people. I've been seeing pop up everywhere every time.
Okay.
And I believe that it's just so overblown that...
What's overblown?
like the amount of issue and hoopla that they make over trans people is just
Well,
like.
here's my question to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Aaron from Ohio.
You're Aaron from Ohio. Okay, and how old are you, Aaron?
Me, I'm 20.
Okay, so why it's 6:26 in the morning in Ohio, right? Where you're calling from, right? Why did you are you up late or up early?
Oh, I'm up late.
You're up late. So why is it you're up late at 6:26 in the morning, and you have transgendered people on your mind? That's a strange thought for a guy like you. You should be thinking about hot girls and stuff, not trans people. Why is that on your mind so early in the morning?
I came well, it's not early for me as.
Why is it on? Why is the first thing on your mind on this Friday trans people? You said you're 20.
Yep.
I didn't think about transgendered people when I was 20. Are you into girls? Do you like girls?
20 a long while ago.
Are you into girls?
Give or take.
Are you into girls? Do you like girls?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Are you straight or gay?
Huh? No, I'm bi. I don't really care.
You're bi?
Yeah.
I would say that you're not bi. You know what you are. You know what you are. Your sexuality is. You're not gay. You're not bi. No, you might agree with this one. You're not bisexual. You're not heterosexual. You're trisexual. Do you know what that means?
I'll listen.
You will try it with anyone who'll do it with you. All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. Boy, oh, boy. He said I was 20 a long time ago. I guess that what 20-year-olds have on their mind at first thing in the morning? Oh, my goodness. All right, if you are on hold, stand by. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. Gee whiz. You know, that's a sad call. That is a really, truly sad call. Because, you know, a guy who's 20, you know, we're coming up on we're in break on the radio, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. When you're 20 years old and you're a man, that's when you are like, you know, supposed to have peak testosterone and all you're thinking about is girls and all that stuff. And basically what he was telling us is that's just not the way it is anymore, right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, yes. My name's Jason. I'm from Spokane.
Hey, Spokane. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to take you when we get out of break on the radio, all right? All right, you'll be first up. All right, hold on. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't our trans-obsessed Ohio and up there. But okay. Okay. All right, let me just hold on here. Okay, No, at that moment in your life, a guy like that, all you're supposed to be thinking about is girls. And they've done so much damage to young men today that they wake up, he doesn't know what he's even into, and he's thinking about transgender people and things at this early hour of the morning. That's really sad. That's really sad. You need to, we need to have more fathers take control of their families here, because that's not the way to be. Nope. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. Isn't that something? Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I'm not going to take any calls until we get back. Okay, so that was the first question I would like you guys to call in about. One, did the Chris Wray FBI and the Biden administration know the identity of the J6 pipe bomber and let them get away with it because they are black? You know, it's much like what's going on in these blue cities where they don't want the crime to be, the criminals arrested, because for some reason, white liberals believe that black people should get away with crimes. Look, they're supporting or non-white people, right? They're supporting the cartels. They're supporting the Somali thievery of $1 billion in Minnesota. You know, all this that's going on. I would really like to know if it is true, which I think most of us believe, that the Chris Wray FBI identified the J6 bomber, found out it was a black man. What was the process that they went through, and how many people were briefed on this that thought it was perfectly reasonable and the right thing to do not to arrest a domestic terrorist because he's African American? I mean, how many people had to clear that? The investigators, the agent in charge, the director, the attorney general, and whoever was running the country at the White House, right? I mean, a lot of people in very high up positions would had to have signed off on that, and I found it so interesting that before we knew who the J6 pipe bomber actually was, I thought it was so interesting when Bongino said we got him without any interviews, without any new evidence. This was all evidence. This was no investigation. The evidence was all there. They had it. They just didn't pursue it, right? That's what really blew my mind. You know, I'm like, right then when I heard that, I knew that they knew all along who the pipe bomber was. They just let them get away with it. And I didn't know why until we found out who the pipe bomber actually is. Okay, hold on. We'll be back in less than a minute. Less than a minute. If you're on hold, stand by. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Callers on hold. You hang in there. Oh boy. The number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll free. It is open phones on Fridays. Those of you that are new, Monday through Thursday, you got to call in about what I'm talking about. Friday's show is open phones. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. It's the only day of the week you can do that. Although, with this massive story, I would hope people would want to comment on these questions surrounding the J6 pipe bomber. All right, here we go. Welcome back, one and all. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Flo Ride is longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. All right, Spokane, Washington. You're on the air, Washington State.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so you said the topic was sorry, let me pause your show here for a second.
Yes.
You said the topic is J6, right? And the idea here is that they've known about the pipe bomber for
5 years.
A long time and have chosen not to use the information until now?
Well, the previous administration had the information.
Yes.
And the new administration, they had the information left behind, but it was confusing and messed up and put in just a big pile that they had to sort through, which took many months to do.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me answer these lines while we're speaking, because it sounds like you're heading towards something good.
I want to start with a little bit of a foundation before we may be heading into a disagreement. We're both conservative. Mm-hmm. I'm from Spokane. I have a very liberal family, but I am a lone conservative in my family. Mm-hmm. I did not vote for Trump for his second term. I did for his first term. I did not for his second term. I'm a bit Trump skeptical, although I do support his administration compared to everything else. Yeah. If that sets the groundwork for where I'm at. I do not accept the official story of J6 whatsoever.
Yeah.
In any capacity.
Does anyone really?
I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people retreat to the mainstream narrative in order to keep themselves comfortable and keep themselves safe and happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They compartmentalize it.
Live in the matrix. They want to be back in the matrix.
Exactly. They're in the matrix. So you and I are both J6 skeptics. We'll call it J6 truthers, right? So we'll start with that. Do you think that the Biden administration had any good reason whatsoever to arrest this person as soon as they knew the truth? Or do you think that it served the administration to wait until Trump became president to force their administration to handle it?
Well, that's an interesting question you ask. And with that question, I don't have a clear answer to that, okay? But the question itself, I'm going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. The answer to your question backs up what my premise is. They knew who the bomber was. They knew he was black, and they didn't want to arrest a black guy. And they would rather the next administration arrest the black guy. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but I think that white liberals today, that run, like we're talking about, like the government people, not regular people, they think that when you arrest a black man and put him in jail, that you're basically putting them back in slavery. Not that they ever were in slavery, but you're like a fugitive slave catcher when you arrest a black man, even if he's committed a crime. And I think they think that. Yeah, that's how they view these things. Yeah, they think black people have legitimate grievances and good reasons to do things like this guy did.
In asking the question that I did, I mean it not necessarily in like a politically opportunistic way, but in a sort of that no government administration is going to take that. All of them are going to take the path of least resistance, and Biden's administration really didn't seem bent on doing any justice whatsoever, unless it was absolutely necessary. They passed the buck whenever possible. And I think that maybe our disagreement here is that the Biden administration may not have done it, not because it wouldn't have been politically savvy for his base. They wouldn't have liked the administration arresting a black man for political reasons or for, everything that you outlined, but simply because they wanted to put the onus as much as possible on the Trump administration.
Correct.
And
yes.
What
their long term. Okay, I agree with you. I don't know if we have the same conclusions for purpose, but the long term goal of the Biden administration, okay, was to define the MAGA movement as a domestic hate or domestic terrorist group and outlaw the entire MAGA movement. That was their goal. So they wanted January 6th identified as a MAGA event to further that goal. And when they found out who the J6 bomber was, who he was, and all of that didn't help with that agenda, that narrative, and that goal. So I believe that they made a decision not to arrest him, and I think they did not destroy the evidence because that's a felony, but I think that they mixed up all the files and the paperwork to create a needle in the haystack scenario that may never have been solved or would have taken many, many years to solve.
Yeah, it was the MAGA insurrection, despite the fact that we know that hundreds of federal agents were there that day, and that...
Well, that's the narrative, but it's a false narrative.
Refusal to use the D.C. Guard under Trump's orders. The reason why is because it would have conflicted with the FBI agents' orders while they were active in the crowd. Their marching orders would have conflicted, and so I don't think that this. I don't think that the Biden administration wanted any true information about J6 to come out during their administration.
Yeah,
because it would have set up a red wave that we didn't. We got Trump elected, right?
Yep.
Trump got his second term after Biden, but because there's a bunch of fractures right now in the conservative movement, and the momentum is slowing down coming near the midterms. Democrats are expected to win in the midterms. And so I think it just would have given us way too much momentum, and the Biden administration knew that, and now the truth is leaking out, but it's still not good
Well,
enough
here's the
because-
Here's the thing. The historical record is already written on January 6th. It's been done by the news media and everything else. And no matter
Right.
what happens, in 50 years or 100 years, they'll think that Donald Trump ordered his supporters to storm the Capitol.
Right.
That's going to be the historical record. And the reason that is because the news media throughout American history is the primary source of our history, right? And history is written by liberal college professors. They're the ones who write the history books. So that the official history will be that President Trump sent his people to storm the Capitol. And I've accepted that. I mean, that's just the way it is. That doesn't mean we're not going to expose this every opportunity we can. And, but that sadly is the historical. Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying about why they didn't pursue this. Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's more complex than that. I'm very curious. See, there were some things I'm curious about is why did these bombs not go off? Was he part of a bigger operation? Is he a patsy? Did he not? Did he have the detonator or not? Did the bombs and detonator malfunction, or did a larger organization decide not to detonate them? There's many things about this.
Do you remember do you remember during the midterms during Trump's first administration? That would have been 2018, the 2018 midterms. There was a pipe bomb incident in Florida, I believe.
I don't recall it. Really? No, I don't remember.
I believe it was a Florida voting
vaguely,
station.
Yes, that's a vague. Yes, I have a vague memory of that. I don't know that. I don't remember the details, but yeah.
The funny thing is that it seems like every 2 or 3 years there's a pipe bomb incident. But I mean, at least starting in 2018, every 2 or 3 years there was a pipe bomb incident.
Around elections,
and I don't think any of them are real. I don't think that the government is out if he was a patsy, I don't think that the government would or any sort of NGO would arm somebody with a real pipe bomb and send them out as a lone agent. Yeah,
maybe they sent him out with duds. There's too many. To scare people and but there's too many coincidences on January 6th to say that everything just spontaneously happened. I don't believe in coincidences. Listen, I got to run for the break, but you're a very good caller. Call again sometime. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, some clear-minded people on the left coast. Yesterday, we welcomed our newest sponsor to the program, and that's Jamie LeeZep from Swift Tax. The entire tax code has changed with the big, beautiful bill, and I talked to Jamie LeeZep from Swift Tax for quite a while yesterday on the program because it was his first day just joining us. No matter who you are, you need an accountant, and you need Jamie LeeZep. By the way, he can help you no matter where you are, and he got calls from all over the United States yesterday for people looking for help on their taxes. Those of you that are seniors, there are so many changes in the tax code for those of you that receive Social Security, so you need to call. If you're receiving Social Security and still in the workforce, huge changes. If you are in the gig economy like an Uber or Lyft driver or one of those types of services, call Jamie LeeZep. You don't just need an accountant. You need a top guy. And, one of the things that really, truly impressed me when I first talked to Jamie LeeZep, before he went on the air the first time, we talked about, what we're going to talk about. And he says, so many people are getting tax breaks for the first time through the big, beautiful bill that they don't know about, that they need to call me so that they're not paying taxes they don't need to pay, or they may be getting refunds that they wouldn't have gotten or will not get, or bigger refunds than they would get. So call him, and it is so true. Jamie LeeZep of Swift Tax. Remember, he can help you no matter where you are in the United States, although he is based right here in Broward County. His office is in Oakland Park. And he really is offering one-on-one service with you, okay? So, and if you're a business owner of any size, he can help you as well. His number rings directly to him, all right? This number rings directly to Jamie LeeZep from Swift Tax. So give him a call, 954-773-1587. If you have an accountant and you think you've been paying too much in taxes and you're not happy, call Jamie LeeZep. And by the way, call today and have a conversation with him so you can start getting things in order. If you earn tips, make sure you give him a call. If you work overtime, give him a call. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587 for Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax. We'll be right back. All right, callers on hold, you stand by, okay? I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Do you ever wish you could step back into the greatest decade of all time, the 80s? You're not alone. That's when members-only jackets made you cool, parachute pants swished with every move, when leg warmers, big hair, and neon ruled, and your Walkman, Atari 2600, and Rubik's Cube were your most prized possessions? If you missed the A-Team, Knight Rider, breakdancing, hair metal, arcades, and that unmistakable new wave sound, you're not alone. Welcome to WeLoveThe80s.com. The community built by people who still believe the 80s were hands down the most iconic decade ever. At WeLoveThe80s.com, they celebrate everything that made the 80s unforgettable. The music, the movies, the fashion, the video games, the attitude, and of course, the memories that shaped a generation. If the 80s live in your heart, relive them with WeLoveThe80s.com. That's WeLoveTheeights.com. Go right now to WeLoveThe80s.com and take your place among the totally awesome. Sometimes the hardest thing to ask for is help. And yet behind closed doors, millions of families are struggling with the basics. The light bill, the rent, the phone that keeps them connected to work and school. Not because they failed, but because life hits hard. That's why there's CloakedCare.com, a first-of-its-kind platform built on dignity, privacy, and real compassion. At CloakedCare.com, people can privately post the essential bills they're fighting to keep up with: utilities, medical cost, rent, phone, and more. And donors can choose a bill and pay directly toward it, with funds sent straight to the verified service providers. There's no uncertainty, no middlemen, just real help for real needs. CloakedCare.com was founded by Marine Corps veteran Leighton Clybourne and was named the best anonymous bill payment service in the United States for 2025, honoring its transparent and innovative approach to modern giving. At CloakedCare.com, every contribution makes a measurable impact, keeping a home warm, a phone connected, or the lights on during a tough month. it's people helping people, quietly, respectfully, transparently. CloakedCare.com. That's CloakedCare. Visit today to ask for help or to be the help someone's been praying for. CloakedCare.com. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, we're still in radio break for 45 seconds. We'll be back. I'm going to go right to the phones. And by the way, if you look at the time, when Jake Tapper reported that the pipe bomber is a white guy, it was 5:01 p.m. here on the East Coast. He had already been identified positively by that point. I mean, this is just wishful thinking and gaslighting on the part of fake Tapper. All right, got about 15 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. All right, guys, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. And again, it is Open MAGA Mike Friday. It is open phones every Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. However, the J6 pipe bomber arrest by Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, pretty amazing. And we brought up some interesting questions on that, and there are many more to come on the program today. So hopefully you have some comment on all of that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Good morning. My name is Lawrence. I'm from South Florida. I'd like to ask you a few questions. Okay. You said your major from college was history, right?
I have a double major in history and in education. I was going to be a school teacher when I went to school.
Okay. Are you American?
Yes, I'm a Native American.
Well, as far as my knowledge considered, the American Indians are the only Americans in this country.
Well, you would be wrong.
So you came from from colonists. Your foreparents.
Here you are here you're calling me with some funny foreign accent in my country, telling me that I'm not an American, that I'm a colonist. You got a lot of nerve, buddy. All right, go to your next question. You've got a list of questions where you're leading me down the garden path to something. What else did you want to know? Yes, I'm an American.
No, this is not your country.
Okay, all right. Go. Walk me through the list of questions you have to get to the point. I'm curious to know where the garden path you think you're walking me down.
Yeah, because okay. The next thing is everything the left has done. Everything that is wrong in this country, you always blame the left. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. That's not a question. Okay. Go ahead. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the major problems we are facing in this country are because of the liberals.
But how do you know that the liberals are doing these things?
Well, give me an example of what is something that I blame liberals for that you think I shouldn't be. Oh, the phones are ringing off the hook. So give me an example of something I blame liberals for that you think I'm unfairly blaming them for, and then we can talk.
Everything you blame the liberals.
Well, give me an example of something that's not their fault that I blame them for. They're responsible for the J6 bomber. They're responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the president being shot in the head in Butler, Pennsylvania. They're responsible for all of those.
That is what you were told.
That's what I was what?
That is what you were told.
Nobody tells me anything. I see what goes on and form my own conclusions. I'm not some mindless pod person like the liberals are.
Were you there to know that he was black?
Yes, the J6 bomber is black, correct.
Were you there? Did you see who the J6 bomber?
They arrested him yesterday. They found detonators in his house and other bomb-making materials. They have his credit card receipts of purchasing the equipment, including the batteries for the pipe bombs. I mean, listen, I wasn't there during the American Revolution, but I know that General Washington was the leader of our army. I mean, I wasn't in Philadelphia on July 4, 1776, but I know the founders in the Congress signed the Declaration of Independence. I mean, come on.
But you came from colonists. That's how your president said.
I did not come from colonists. My parents are also Native Americans.
Okay, Brian. So why your president is saying that the children who are born in this country from immigrants should not be here?
Their parents came here illegally to commit a fraud and to establish residency by giving birth in this country.
Yeah, but regardless what, you can't take that away. They're born here, regardless what.
No, if let me give you an example, right? If a buddy of mine steals somebody's credit card, and we go to Best Buy, and he buys me the biggest 85-inch, 100-inch TV they have, and I have it in my living room, and then down the road he gets arrested because he stole this credit card, do I get to keep the TV, or are they going to come take the TV from my living room?
Brian, that is something weird.
No, what's going to happen is, no, it's the same concept. They're going to take the TV because the TV was purchased through a fraud, just like these anchor babies.
I don't see.
Where is this accent of yours from? I've answered your questions. What accent is this? This is not an American accent.
Yeah, it's an American accent.
This is not an American accent. No, my accent's American. Yours is not.
I am from South America.
Well, that's not an American accent. You're not American.
Why?
What country?
I am American.
What country are you from?
American.
You don't have an American accent.
I'm from South America.
Well, then you are descendant of colonists too, by your own standards. You are a descendant of colonists as well. Are you going to tell me you're Inca? Are you an Aztec? No.
Brian,
you say that this isn't our country, that we're descendant of the Spaniards and the Portuguese settled South America. You are, by your own standard, you are a descendant of a colonist too, unless you're Aztec.
American Indians. I never said that. I said you consider yourself.
No, you said that I am descendant of colonists. The Europeans colonized South America too. Why am I a descendant of colonists, but you're not, Mr. South America?
I never said I was not a colonist.
Well, now that I pressed you,
because
shame on you.
You're doubting that you're from a colonist. You came from.
No,
a colonist.
I am not. I did not come from a colonist. I came from Native American parents who were also born in the United States, unlike you.
The American Indian is the only true Americans.
No, that's not true.
You guys meet the American Indians here.
There was no United States of America during the Indian times.
Okay, Brian, thank you.
Yeah. I would thank you for your call, but if I did that, I would be lying. Boy, oh boy, he's got a lot of nerve. You know, I was over at Friendly Tire in Margate yesterday. I was talking to Friendly Mike, and he was telling me a lot of our listeners have been taking advantage of the great deals on used tires. Good used tires as low as $35 a tire out the door and on the road. And he was telling me that some of our listeners actually have come in for spare tires, including those small donuts. I didn't even know people bought those small donuts. Yeah, you can get those from Friendly Mike too. But he said people often come in and get new spare tires with the used tires as low as $35 a tire. And by the way, you know, new tires as low as $75 a tire. And remember, with both the new and used tires, that's out the door and on the road. Because whether it's new or used, Friendly Mike does not charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. So give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. There's one opening on our board. It is Open Mega Mike Friday. Open phones. Any and everything on your mind is fair game. However, the J6 bomber being arrested by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino is at the top of my mind, but you don't have to comment on that if you don't want. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our top-of-the-hour break and be back with your calls after this. I mean, that guy's got a lot of nerve. Why? I don't hear them complaining about Canadians or any other people. Every other people in this world, they're fine with them on their land except Americans. Why are United States of Americans, why are we colonists who are on stolen land, but nobody else is on stolen land, according to these liberals, right? I mean, if you're on hold standby, I'm going to take the calls on the radio, not during the break here at the top, okay? So hang on, and you'll be on the radio if you hold on. You notice that? Why is it only people of the United States are on stolen land, but Canadians aren't, South Americans aren't, Mexicans aren't, Europe isn't, right? No one. Just us. Does that make sense? Can anybody explain that to me on the left? These people are out of their freaking minds. Yeah, we'll be back in 3 minutes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so I had a holiday event I went to, which was with somebody put on that you all know, but it was private, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell people who had it and where I was at. But I did I wore a suit and tie. I did a live stream in the car part of the way there. I didn't have my jacket on, but I had my tie on and everything. And, of course, that was a Trump tie. My wife got me a couple of Trump ties for Christmas, and she gave them to me early because I was on Newsmax recently, and she wanted me to have a new tie for Newsmax. So, but she got me two because I had this holiday party. So and they're Trump ties. Let me see if I've got this. This isn't the one I wore last night. I wore the red one last night, but this is a Trump tie. And you can see, let me see what time they're going to be. They're nice, aren't they? Okay. And they're very high quality. You can see it's got Trump seal right here in gold. It says Donald J. Trump right there. It says Donald J. Trump's signature collection, and then has this nice metal pin that says Donald Trump on it. They're really nice. And she got me this one and a red one. I wore this one on television. The red one I wore to the holiday party because I thought it kind of matched a holiday party color. But I don't know how to tie a double Windsor. And I have been trying to learn to tie a double Windsor. I can't do it because President Trump uses a double Windsor, and I just can't tie a double Windsor. I was watching videos on YouTube last. Does anybody know how to tie a double Windsor? It's tough. I just can't do it. It's just, But I want to learn to tie a double Windsor so I can tie my tie like President Trump ties his tie. I have 3 Trump ties. The other one I have is great. It's red. Those are not available at the Trump store. My wife got them somewhere else. Anyone can learn. I have tried to learn. Maybe part of the problem is I try to tie the double Windsor like right before I'm going to something. So, there's we'll be back in a minute. But I just cannot. I can do the beginning. I can get halfway through it, and that's it. Do any of you guys know how to tie a double Windsor? Steve Kane can tie a double Windsor, but I cannot tie a double Windsor. But I get all these comments from people that I don't recognize Brian, all cleaned up, or I get this a lot. You clean up nice, Brian. I guess I look like a hobo most of the time, And these are just reading glasses. People say, "Oh, these are just reading glasses." I have them so I can read the chat and the articles. I have perfect vision far away. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome back. The 7 o'clock hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig, and of course we're talking about the J6 bomber. So many questions about it. One we were talking about in the first hour. If you're on hold, stand by. Just a quick recap. Do you believe that Chris Wray and the Biden FBI knew the identity of the J6 bomber, but didn't arrest them because when they found out they were black? That's one. There's many questions. A second one I'd like to hear your thoughts on. Does this redeem Bongino and Kash Patel in your mind? We've all been frustrated, but it looks like Dan Bongino has been spending every working hour of the last few months as deputy director of the FBI, going through this needle in the haystack of evidence that Chris Wray and his corrupt team left behind. Does this redeem Dan Bongino and Kash Patel in your mind? I think so. I'm pretty excited about it and happy for him. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. Hey, I'm Tyler. I'm from Ohio.
Yeah, you called me earlier. It's one call per show.
Who?
All right, call me another day. Don't call back today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Brian Craig.
Who else would it be? You called me.
Hi, is this Brian Craig?
You called me. You don't know who you're calling?
Is this Brian Craig?
Why would you call if you don't know who you're calling?
Excuse me?
Why would
There's
you?
a bit of a delay.
Yeah. If you don't know who you're calling, why did you call?
I know this is Brian Craig. I'm sorry, this is just a bit of a delay. I'm sorry. This is Chester from Idaho.
Turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening on in the background and just listen on your phone, and there'll be no delay unless you have a voice in your head that speaks to you. All right, there you go. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Base Conservative. Love your show, man.
Well, thank you very much. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm just going to go anonymous, but we're calling from California, and I wanted to touch upon something that's often overlooked. I'm going to start calling different, prominent shows like yours, prominent right-wing shows, and encourage you guys. First of all, I want to encourage everybody to get out and vote in the midterms. It's often
Yes, that's a good idea. All right. And the rest of what you're going to encourage people to do, we don't need to know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Hey, Greg, speak up.
Okay, listen.
Your voice is somewhat muffled.
When I speak up, you say I'm yelling, and then I'm off the charts. But
I was at a Christmas party last night. It was a private party with someone that was put on by someone that everyone listening to me knows. Not going to tell you who or where, but I was sitting at the table with some people, and they brought you up to me.
Well, guess what? That's a compliment, correct?
They weren't complimenting you. They were. They heard because they heard your call yesterday. They were listening because they knew I was going to be at the private party.
Well, are there any other type of parties, private parties or public parties? Usually it's like a private party, but let's not.
No, there's public parties. Sure, there's public parties. Absolutely, there's public parties.
I hope these people at your next party discuss how you become like a mini Alex Jones. Like everything is deep state, patsies. Let me ask you this question: you're telling me the FBI, maybe Secret Service, put thousands of hours into an investigation, and once they found out the individual, wait a minute, he's black, let's bury it, and we're not going. Like
that's what happened.
Involved in that.
That's what happened.
No. If you don't, you give me one shred of evidence that presents that happened. Give me one credible shred of evidence.
Well, the Chris Wray FBI, if you remember, the agents with the Chris Wray FBI took a knee in front of black people begging for forgiveness for sins of white people done against black people. Remember that?
How many did that? How many?
A whole group. And then there were other FBI.
A whole group is vague and ambiguous. How many?
I don't know. It was a group, and then there was another bunch
Everybody
saw this. Everybody saw. Then there were some other. There were some other FBI agents who were wearing their guns, badges, and FBI flak vest in gay rights parades and marching and sashaying through the gay rights parade.
How many? But you know what? Let me ask you a question. Has Kash Patel fired these people?
He did actually. Yeah, he did fire some of the ones that took the knee.
How many is he? How many?
I don't remember.
Know facts. How many?
I do know facts. And early on in his reign, he fired, demoted, and demoted some of the knee takers. I don't remember how many. But he did it.
Right, you don't remember because you don't know, you don't speak of facts. You speak in these like vague tones, like, oh, you come up with a theory. You probably had too much eggnog last night at the
I didn't have any alcohol. All I drank I had a Sprite. I had a Sprite. I had a Coke, and then I had a couple glasses of water. But it was nice, fancy water. I think it was Avion or something.
Well,
it was a fancy party.
You're telling me, and also this term "patsy," which is your word of the year now, patsy. You bring it up on a weekly, maybe daily basis.
It's a good. Yeah.
Now this patsy. You're telling me they're going to hire a mentally ill individual to plant bombs at both Republicans and Democrats.
Yes.
That none of them went off.
Correct.
He was totally inept. And that's the type of people they're hiring, these quote-unquote patsies.
You've heard about you've heard that term. It's good enough.
What was the motive?
It's good enough for government work.
What was the motive?
Well, we don't know exactly. I mean, they were trying to portray the MAGA movement as a domestic terrorist organization. We know this, right? And outlawed.
Taking out Democrats as well.
Maybe. If that furthers their goal.
Brian, listen. You know what? Listen. I just
liberals have this old saying: "The ends justify the means." An old liberal phrase. The ends justify the means.
And then they're going to say, hire this patsy who's got mental issues, and also go buy the stuff at Home Depot where there's a paper trail.
Yes.
And also drive your car with your license plate on it where it could be monitored. Yes. You know that was the biggest pieces of evidence.
Because they never thought that justice would be done. They were in charge. Trump was never coming back.
Who is they?
The establishment.
Who's they? The establishment. That's vague and
ambiguous. Greg, I'm moving on.
Because you have nothing to say.
No, because you're a crazy person. You're a crazy person who sounds deranged. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie. You clean up pretty nice. Listen,
I hear that a lot from people. I get that. That's like I get that a lot. I don't know why. I mean,
First of all, real quick, Greg too. You don't know what you're talking about. You just call up to just be indifferent with Brian. I'm going to explain to you. Ask him, give me one thing. I'm going to tell you one thing about Chris Wray. You remember the cell phone? He said it was corrupted, that they couldn't get it?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday at the news conference, Bongino said, we got the cell phone stuff. So that was a total lie to Congress by Chris Wray.
That's correct.
It wasn't corrupted.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your one thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say something. There's a man who is the most pro-Trump person that you know, including yourself.
More than me? No such person exists.
No. There's nobody more than Brian Craig. And Brian Craig, a week before January 6th, said, and we don't have to go far, he said, don't go to this thing in Washington.
That's right.
It's a setup.
Yes.
You every day it was like a message that you were putting out. Don't go. Mm-hmm. The number one MAGA guy on the radio was saying, don't go.
Yep.
Because he knew it was going to be a
It was
setup.
obvious.
Why didn't they go? So obvious. And those pipe bombs didn't go off because they were supposed to go off, but they were found before the timer went off.
Something went wrong where it didn't happen, Brian.
They were supposed to go off at the start of the thing, but they were found before that.
Yeah.
So they stopped it ahead of time. Mm-hmm. They don't know whether they would have gone off or not.
That's right.
So the bottom line is that this was a narrative that.
So what do you think? Why do you think they? You agree that Chris Wray and his team identified him and let him go? You agree with that?
Yeah, but I don't think it was because he was. Yeah, I do, but I don't think it was because he was black. I think because it was they accomplished their narrative.
Yes.
They had their January 6th fake committee. Mm-hmm. They had their NBC or ABC producers. They got all these congressmen. They got Liz Cheney. They got everyone to muddy the waters, dirty. And they were arresting black MAGA people in the middle of the United States. So it wasn't because he was black. It was against their narrative.
Well, no, to arrest a black man as the pipe bomber would interrupt the narrative they were establishing.
Exactly. Plus he probably was a left wing. and they wanted everyone to think it was all MAGA.
Yes.
They had all these infiltration of these feds and everything. So, Brian, the bottom line was you don't have to search. It was a setup, and you predicted it way ahead of time.
Absolutely.
And for Craig not to see that it was a setup, this isn't a conspiracy
Greg,
theory.
Greg too.
Greg.
When at this party last night, he just doesn't sound him. He's not himself. Something's off with. Maybe it's the holiday time.
No, he hates you. If you say white, he says black. If you say black, he says white. He just wants to just get into you. He is so obsessed with being outdoing you. It's ridiculous.
Never going to happen.
It's so obvious.
Never going to happen.
But no, it's not going to happen. I mean, Greg, not for nothing. You're an attorney. If you can't see that this was a whole setup, it's a whole, including January 6th commission and everything.
In fact, when I was at this event last night, this party, and somebody brought up Greg too, and then some other people had heard him. And I said, he's an attorney. You should have seen the look of shock. They said, he's an attorney? I said, yeah. I said, I don't know what kind, but yeah, he's an attorney.
Brian, he's probably a very good attorney, but you're in his head. You're totally in this guy's head. It's funny. I love to hear his calls because he sounds like a crazed maniac when he calls you. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with substance. And Craig is probably a very good attorney. And I'm not knocking him.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't know. He probably is. I don't think I would hire him. He probably wouldn't be the best representative for me. But whatever he does.
Not for you. But I bet you one thing. I bet you if you ever met him, and he went to one of your meetings, and he never introduced himself. I bet you that you two would get along in person. Yeah. I don't know. This is his niche in life. Go against Brian Craig.
He has Brian Craig derangement syndrome. All right, take care, Richie. It's December, holiday time, right? Christmas, New Year's. We just went through Thanksgiving. We have all kinds of events, right? Hanukkah. The holidays is the deadliest time of the year, right? December's the deadliest time of year for heart attacks. Stats from the American Heart Association show that more people die from heart attacks during the last week of December than at any other time of the year, with Christmas Day and New Year's Day being the most dangerous. Wow. The stress, rich foods, alcohol, cold weather all contribute to the heart attack spike. That's why Life Imaging FLA is offering free heart scans with a few minimum requirements that's valued at $699. While you're there, make sure to ask about their full body cancer screening so you get that ultimate peace of mind. I had both the heart scan and the cancer screening. Okay, it's really all about proactive health. I got a call from a listener the other day on the air. He went over to Life Imaging FLA for the heart scan, found out he had a problem, went to his doctor, and they prescribed some medication to help him with his heart issue. Would never have known about it. It's amazing. Proactive healthcare is what they're all about over there. They're saving lives all of the time. This December, give yourself the gift of health. Schedule your scan today. Enjoy the holidays with confidence. On your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. Remember, they have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County. Pound 250, pound 250. Say free heart scan. You will be connected in seconds. We'll be back after this. Oh, man. Some of these callers today, I told you guys yesterday that holiday times bring out strange things from people, right? Some of the callers get a little weird this time of year.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank. What's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. Hey there, it's Brian Craig. You've heard me tell you about how Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain with his laser away pain treatment. Shoulder injuries, arthritis, knee pain, all gone, and more. But don't just take my word for it. Monica called me live on the radio to tell me how Dr. Appleton rid her of pain.
Brian, my name is Monica. I'm from Boca. I'm calling because several weeks ago I had a lot of pain on my knees, and I went to see Dr. Appleton. He relieved me from my knee pains. I can walk. And this week, I went to see him. I had excruciating pain on my hand, and I had a treatment. And I just want to say out there to everyone, it works. It really works. I am pain-free from my hands. He's amazing. Friendly staff. He's wonderful. And I highly recommend him. And I thank you so much for the recommendation. I'm very grateful.
Call Dr. Appleton right now and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, we'll be back shortly. I want to play this clip from Hannity last night. I'm going to take some calls when we get back. If you want to call in, the number's toll free. But, last week, what his girlfriend, Ainsley, I haven't seen her too much because some of the time she's on is when I'm on, right? But I saw her on Outnumbered last week, and they were like terrified of her. The other Emily Campagno and all, they're terrified of her, and she is not that bright. I was shocked. Hearing her for the first time. I don't have time to get into what they were talking about. If maybe at the next break I will. It was very strange. All right, we got about 30 seconds. Yeah, the number's toll free. Oh, man. All right, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian Craig. Hey, this is Chester from Idaho. Do you remember me calling before?
Yes.
Hello.
I do remember you calling before, and you said the same thing over and over again, like you've done now. Are you Brian Craig?
You and I used to talk the Ukraine war. How are you doing?
Okay.
Listen, so the Ukraine war has had some development recently. Donald Trump has prepared to concede to Russia a lot more in the territory of Russia. They're going to send a lot more to Ukraine. What do you feel about that?
Whatever. I have no feelings about it at all. I mean, it's a civil war. What are we supposed to do?
It's an awful civil war. I'm just considering though. How do you feel about the Russia of Ukraine, the Russian aggression of Ukraine? Do you think that Russia should control more of Ukraine, or do you feel that Russia could control more?
I really have no opinion about it. I never have. I don't care about it. I just don't care. I vaguely remember your calls in the past. I vaguely. It's been a long time since we talked, but no, I don't. There's a lot of problems that go on in the world. Most of them I don't really care about. I mean, I don't like to see people dying. I'd like to see the killing stop. But okay. You know, like you're in where are you calling me from? Idaho?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, the war between Russia and Ukraine is a civil war. And I've told you this before, I'm sure, when we talked. Putin's position with Ukraine, which was part of the Soviet Union, is a similar position that President Abraham Lincoln had with the southern states. You can't leave the Union. And
I totally disagree with that because that was over decades before.
So
this is Ukraine as a permanent independent union, and Ukraine is decades later coming in and taking it. And Trump is defending Russia now. Months later, he's saying yes, Russia should take multiple. Like the majority of Ukraine that is contested right now.
The reason that we're in the situation, the reason we're in this situation we're in right now, okay, is because at the beginning of Trump's second term, remember when the first time Zelensky went to the White House, right, and it got very rough between him and J.D. Vance and Brian Glenn.
I remember, yeah.
The reason it got rough is because President Trump came up with a perfect solution to end everything, and Zelensky said he was going to sign off on it. He came to the White House to do that and then didn't. And what I was talking about, President Trump came up with an ingenious idea, and that was for Zelensky to give those mineral contracts to the United States, and President Trump wanted to have U.S. companies move to Ukraine with American workers, with their families in eastern Ukraine.
This is the Alaska Summit.
Hold on. Let me finish. This was a few months ago.
Just clarifying.
And start those mining operations, and it would have been basically a DMZ stopping Russian advancement because they wouldn't want to go through and kill American civilians. And Zelensky, for whatever reason, corruption, stupidity, whatever, or he's just a figurehead and couldn't sign off on it, wouldn't agree to it. And here we are today.
Actually, Zelensky, as recent months, has expelled multiple members of the Ukrainian government because of corruption in the recent months.
Well, he's Mr. Corruption. I mean, his term for president was over how long ago? And he's still president.
He just corrupted like two members of the
No, but
Ukrainian,
he is corrupt. He is a dictator. Zelensky is a dictator who is in office past his term, and he won't have elections.
Yeah, I think it's how many terms has Putin been in term? You know, I think.
But you can't say that you're fighting for democracy. You can't say you're. Hold on. You can't say
multiple Ukrainian years at this point have been spent at war.
But you can't. You cannot say you're fighting for democracy when you stay in office when your term is up. When you outlaw opposition media and outlaw.
Yes, you can. FDR did. I would absolutely say you can.
We still had elections. No, we had elections during World War II.
The territory of Ukraine is
Excuse me, no. We had no. FDR didn't suspend elections. We had elections during the war, during World War II.
No, he
just won them all.
Term limit.
No, he did not. There were no term limits then.
Absolutely, he was in term for 3 terms.
He was elected four terms. He was elected to 4 terms and died in the 4th. No, we still had. There were no term limits then.
Yeah, so what's your problem with Zelensky?
FDR, when FDR was president, right, during World War II and before, right, he was elected in 1933, there were no term limits.
Yes.
Okay? We still had elections.
But
Republicans...
there were still traditions set by American presidents.
But there was no constitutional amendment. That came after Roosevelt. And the Republicans...
Okay, so
we had the Republicans...
With FDR's term limits, do you agree then with FDR taking more than 2 term limits?
Yeah, the American people reelected him. Yeah,
taking 2 term limits,
but he hasn't run again. No. His term is up. His term is up with no election. The Republicans.
Yeah,
excuse me. Excuse me. Stop talking. I'm speaking. During the Second World War, He had to run for re-election. The Republicans had a nominating convention, nominated and had opponents. FDR just won. Zelensky hasn't done that. Yeah, there were elections.
But there were term limits.
No, there were no term limits back then. It became a constitutional amendment in the 50s. FDR died in 45.
Well, there was still a tradition. Whatever. Either
a tradition is not a law.
Term limits are not an issue here. Either way, I'm talking about
He's a dictator.
Donald Trump's policy to end the Ukraine war. He wants to give Ukrainian territory to your Russia.
The war's lost.
What do you feel about that?
I don't care. They had an opportunity.
The war's won?
By Russia. Yeah, Ukraine's lost the war.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got your opinions.
You're not. Are you surprised? I mean, what? I wish it wouldn't have happened.
I guess I'm surprised that the war didn't end in August like you predicted. You said the Ukraine war is over in August.
Because Zelensky lied to the president. He said he was going to agree to that mining deal.
No, you lied to your audience. You lied to your audience that the Ukrainian-Russian war was over. You thought that Donald Trump was some messiah that would
President
end the
Trump
war.
offered a deal to Zelensky that would have ended the war with those mining deals. And Zelensky said no. After he agreed to sign off on it, then he said no. He lied to the president.
Craig, you know what? Craig, you know what you and I share on? You and I share sad emotions that it hasn't ended. You know? I'm very sad.
I don't really have any emotions about it. I have no emotions about it.
You don't end any emotions?
No.
You don't end any emotions over 1 million people have died in this war?
This is what we've had enough wars for Europe.
Emotions. You don't have any emotions on this.
No,
war.
we've got enough problems in the United States. I can't worry about Europe.
I call into your show and I say, you know what, Brian Craig, he's got nice opinions on this. You know, he's up to date on the events, and you don't have any opinions. You tell me this.
I don't know. I said I'm tired of dealing with it. Sometimes there's this guru lady, Mel Robbins. You ever heard of her? She's like one of those self-help gurus, Mel Robbins.
I know who she is.
Okay, she's got a book out that some say she stole the title of from this TikToker. It's called Let Them. Mm-hmm. You know, there's some things, you can do what you can do, and then you got to just let them do whatever it is they're going to do and just give up. There's nothing that Zelensky blew it, and he made a decision about those mining contracts, and it cost him the war in the country.
I'm just telling you that you have a platform. You can broadcast to people how they should feel about this war, how they should end this war. You know,
President Trump had it. President Trump had the war over, and Zelensky blew it.
What, in the Alaska summit months ago? Is that Zelensky
the mining deal would have ended the war. All right, listen. I'm late for the break. We'll be right back. I mean, come on, guys. Let me play this clip. This was the Treasury Secretary with Hannity last night.
Sean, he'll call me, Scott. I didn't wake you, did you? No, sir. I'm always awake at 1:52 on a Tuesday. And I can tell you, we did the trip to Alaska. We did a round trip one day, and we arrived back. The rest of the cabinet, Secretary Rubio, Secretary Lutnick, and I, our batteries are out. We land at Andrews, and the president's like, oh, it's morning in Europe now. I think we had spent probably 20 hours in the air in Alaska, and he said, let's start making phone calls and call the European leaders. Yeah. So we had to sit on the tarmac for 2 more hours while he made phone calls. He never stops working for the American people.
Yeah, isn't that something? He works like 20 hours a day. So right before 2 a.m. he's calling Bassett, let's get to work. And he expects them to be working right at the same time. He's like, you're not off. It's 8 minutes to 2 a.m. Let's go.
Sean, I don't know what the hell this prior leadership team was doing outside of targeting political opponents, weaponizing the FBI, destroying its reputation, embarrassing agents that are doing really good work out there, catching terrorists, CCP spies, and everyone else. It's almost like they were intentionally trying to decimate faith in institutions. It's horrifying. I don't know what they were doing. I can tell you what happened, though, when we got there, the director and I. My first meeting, I swore in And I kid you not, probably 15 minutes later, and the people who are in the meeting know, I said, when I get in there, I want a full brief on this pipe bomber case on day one. And I looked at the case agent after getting a full brief on what they'd done, and they had done some a pretty extensive amount of work. They had chased down, I think, thousands of leads, 6,000 plus interviews had been conducted, hundreds of tips, and it still was relatively stale, the case. And I grabbed the case agent on the way out, and I said, "You're going to get me this guy. You're going to track this guy down, and you're going to find him. You're going to get me this guy. I want him." And that started what's been almost a 9-month operation right now to make sure that we could get full accountability and transparency to the American public and find this guy. And today we did. But Sean, I have to add this because this is really important. You've heard all the cliches, team effort. You hear it all the time in sports. I said it today at the presser, but I want to emphasize this. This was a team. Judge Janine, Deputy Attorney General Blanche, people you and I know very well, AG Bondi. You cannot do anything in the FBI without DOJ process, subpoenas, drawn paper, search warrants, complaints, arrest warrants. Who do you think does that? It's not just us. We're the investigators, they're the lawyers. So that team, from day one, I told Pam and Todd, I said, hey, Kash and Kash could not have been more supportive. He's like, Dan, go for it. They said, whatever you need. And their attorneys over there were amazing on this case. So don't just throw the team effort thing out like it's just a standard cliche. I mean it. They really did a great job.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about this when we get back, and we'll be back in less than a minute. We're in a radio station break right now. But the question is Dan Bongino and Kash Patel redeemed in your mind now? Because all of us that have been so impatient, because it looks like Bongino spent however many months he's been deputy director on this. And he's done a good thing here, right? He has really done a good thing. If you're on hold, stand by. We've got 20 seconds. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We're on a radio station break for about 10 more seconds. Subscribe if you're new. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, it's Ed from Coconut Creek.
Hey, Ed. Turn down the volume in the background, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yes, I'd like to say something about that bald head, big-eared guy that was just going after our troops. I want to call him Goonie Kelly.
Oh, Mark Kelly?
He looks like that Goonie.
You know, they took out another drug boat yesterday with 4 guys on it.
They need to take out more.
Yeah.
They need to put a few Democrats in the boat.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, though, that he's been lying low the last couple days.
Well, I think he's just going to keep going. He's not going to stop. And I think they need to take him up on treason. They really do, because you can't do that.
Yeah. It looks like, they brought the admiral in yesterday, and all the reporting shows that the admiral filleted the Congress people, regardless of what they're saying.
Good.
Good. This admiral is a career military man. He's a Navy SEAL. This guy's dedicated his whole life to serving this country. I saw him yesterday. He's a tough guy. I wouldn't mess with him. I'd stand at attention. I'm not even in the service. And they're trying to destroy this man and threatening him with court-martial and Geneva Convention violations and everything. Give me a break. Kelly is a disgrace.
I was looking up what they did to Tokyo Rose, and it was just treason. That's all it was.
Well, I was talking about that earlier this week, that what they're doing in the media is what Tokyo Rose was doing, and Tokyo Rose was sentenced to 10 years in the federal penitentiary for what she did, spreading misinformation to our service personnel in time of war.
Well, they just need to stop. You got these dumb Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and you've been calling them liberals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the basic Democrat is not a liberal, so they think that's not me. That's them. No, dumb butt. That's you.
Yep, that's right. All right, well, good to hear from you from Coconut Creek. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. It is open phones today. Every Friday is Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Greg in Dallas, Texas.
Hey, what's up, Dallas?
And I just want to say the suspect arrested, he's transracial, and who are we to deny his
What's
whiteness?
that? What do you mean he's transracial? Oh, you're talking about the Jake Tapper identifying him as white? Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. He's transracial. Yeah. I like that. Yes. You're on the took me a second, guys. I was up late last night. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Sean.
All right, speak up. What's on your mind, Sean?
Yeah, my name is Jacob. How you doing?
Oh, Jacob.
You hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, this guy, the military guy, I forgot his name. You guys were just speaking about him.
Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly.
The general.
Oh, the admiral. I don't remember the admiral's
admiral.
name. Yeah, I don't remember the admiral's name.
Yeah. I just feel, I'm a little saddened for him. Like you said, great military guy, a lot of great, been in the military a long time. I feel like he's being thrown under the bus.
By the Democrats, by the Democrats in the media.
Well, as of this point, the Republicans are the one that made the decision for the reason why he's under investigation is
He's not under investigation. No. He's not under the investigation. But Congress has oversight, and they can call people from positions inside the federal government to testify in hearings. He's not under investigation. But Congress has oversight. No, he is not under investigation.
I saw Hashtag, and Hashtag took no problem saying it was him. There was a lot of it was him coming from the top. And that to me is being thrown under the bus as a leader to start throwing.
This is another guy. You're the second guy with a funny accent from a foreign country that's trying to undermine our government. That's called me today.
Well, it's not the first.
Where are you calling me from?
Yeah, you do this all the time.
Where are you calling from? You said, did you say Dallas, or was that the caller before you? Where are you calling from?
I'm not calling from Dallas.
Where are you calling from?
From North Carolina.
This is not a North Carolina accent you have. What's this accent?
This is America, people.
This is not an American accent. You do not have an American accent. You do not have an American accent.
North Carolina. I wasn't even born in North Carolina. I've lived in Atlanta, North Carolina, New York, and New Jersey.
Yeah, but where's the accent from? That accent is not from any of those places.
It's unfortunate that you're making it about me and not.
Well, no, I just don't like the idea of foreigners with funny foreign accents trying to undermine our government and our country and spread disinformation.
I wish you had a video so I can show you my birth certificate and my passport so we can get over here.
Yeah, just like Obama did. I'm sure Obama showed a birth certificate too.
So I have fake Obama. What are you talking about? I have fake Obama birth certificate. Like, how do people listen to you?
You're listening to me.
Right
You're listening to me.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Yeah, but it's because you get paid from all these these commercials and these ads, but you don't make any sense. You're not a good debater.
Sure.
You make it about the person and not the topic.
The reason that everyone has whatever someone's opinion is based on their background, what brings them to that opinion. And you have the mindset of not an American, but a foreigner.
I don't know why.
Did you just take a hit off of a cigarette, or are you vaping or something? I just heard you. Are you vaping or smoking? What are you smoking?
That was me. Again, you're making this about me. This is not about me. I am an American. I do love this country just as much as the Caucasian.
Okay, as the Caucasians. Listen, I got to run for a break. I've got to run for a break. Thank you for the call. Oh my goodness, we'll be right back. Boy, oh boy. All right. Oh my God! People have opinions based on their backgrounds. So it's important to understand and know where people are coming from to understand their opinions. Okay.
This is George.
Unbelievable. Hey, it's Brian. The on-air phone is going to your voicemail still. You know, I called it twice. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, I've got. Let me see what. Hold on one second. Let me look at the clock. No, I don't think so. No. I can't give out the number to you on the phone. The one I texted you yesterday is the one I'm calling from. Yeah, I called it twice. Yeah, let me give it to you right now. It's 888 465 2631. Okay. Oh, man. George, is this you?
It is.
All right, stand by. We got 1 minute, and we'll be back. We're in break for 1 more minute. Okay?
Okay.
All right,
Sure.
Stand by. All right, 30 seconds, George. Okay. All right, and we are back. I'm Brian. It's time to check in with George Colony, our real estate guy. Hey, George, how you doing?
Fine. How are you? Good morning.
I'm doing well. You know, just yesterday, I talked with one of our listeners who met with you, Jeff. And we recorded a new commercial, and it's with our listener, Jeff. You guys will be hearing it next week. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Jeff because he had an interesting story. Last week, Thanksgiving week, you and I were talking about how you can take someone who's a renter who would like to become an owner of a home. You can turn them into an owner of a home for less than they're paying in rent. And Jeff called you up, and he's about to become a homeowner. Which is,
I say it's better than that. It's better than that, Brian. This is almost an unbelievable story. He called me. He talked to me for 15 minutes. He listened to me, and he says, I need to come see you. Within a half an hour, he was sitting in my office.
Wow.
And we talked about a number of things, okay? We certainly talked about his home, but he also talked about that he'd been a little bit down on his luck in business, and he just needed to get going again.
he introduced me to a doctor, and the doctor and I talked for about 20 minutes with Jeff. Then the doctor said, hey, I've got a huge amount of money in a fund, and I want to buy some businesses, and I'd like Jeff to be involved. Now, Jeff didn't know this was coming, and neither did I. Last night, that doctor introduced me to a billionaire out of Michigan who's flying down here with 2 other doctors.
Oh, my goodness.
If anybody has a business out there, I don't care how successful or unsuccessful you are, give me a call because you just never know what comes from it. I'm going to tell you something. I could have been parachuted into Fort Lauderdale last Thursday, and as a result of what Brian did, introducing me to his listener, everything is changing, and it might change for me too because this is big time.
Oh my goodness! So
Crazy.
It sounds like you won the lottery, George Colony. Holy smokes!
It could be great for me, great for them. But then last night I ran into another one of your guys, Jamie from Swift Tax. He was so excited he couldn't move. He says he was. I guess you interviewed him yesterday, and 4 people called him from around the country and were telling him about how some of them hadn't filed their taxes in years. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know who to call. But they trusted you, Brian, and they called him, and now he's in action with those 4 people. Some of them are here locally. You know, people that listen to you and sit there and say, oh, this is just a talk. This isn't. What you have is you have information that is life-altering to people. They need to pick up the phone and call, and they need to thank you for being there and bringing this kind of information to them.
Well, I got to tell you, we've been bringing people together on this program for many years, but this may be the first $1 billion deal we've connected people with.
$1 billion, yeah.
So hopefully we'll go out and have you'll buy me a steak dinner when it's over.
I might buy you a steakhouse.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome, George Colony. But listen, guys. George and I have known each other personally, I don't know, a month or two, and we were introduced to one another by Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing. But I've known you, George, for many years, growing up in Fort Lauderdale. I've seen your name all over town my whole life. So I feel like I know you, even though we've only really known each other a short time. And when it comes to real estate, this is something I talk about a lot when I'm talking about George Colony. Nothing against most real estate agents, because everybody, people are good people trying to make a living. But George Colony, as you can hear, isn't just a real estate agent. You're a businessman, and a top tier businessman, as opposed to a real estate agent who is doing it part time or something. And when you're making what very well would be the largest financial decision you or your family make, which is the purchase of real estate, of your home, which is a multi-generational financial decision, you want to talk to a top guy, and that's George Colony. I'm going to give you George Colony's number. It's 954-801-7320. That's 954-801-7320. Well, George, that's all great news, and I'll catch up with you next week.
Well, I hope to hear from some of your people, because I'm going to tell you something. This is so exciting. At 83 years old, you've almost reborn me.
No,
because I love what's going on. I never knew you could get to people like this and really help them. All these people like Swift Tax and Tom, they're all just regular American guys that want to help.
That's right. Basically, what the show is, we're a referral service, is what I tell people. It's amazing. It's great to bring people together. Well, George, have a great weekend, and we'll talk after the weekend.
Thank you very much, man. You're great.
All right, take care. Oh man, I can't wait to tell Steve. By the way, I don't want to give out too much information about this. Steve's okay. Steve hasn't been with us that much this week. There's someone in his extended family who is, having some major health issues, and this is not his wife or immediate family, but somebody in his extended family may be in their final days, and that's why Steve hasn't been here with us that much this week. He's been dealing with that. For people, because people have been asking me, and that's why. I don't want to say who exactly. It's not someone you all would be familiar with, but people around Steve would know, and I don't know if they've told that to everyone. Well, listen, we're short. I got behind on the break schedule on the program today, as usual. But after I'm going to take some more calls now. But after the top of the hour, I am going to recap and what everything that's going on with the J6 bombers, because the J6 bomber, because I want to get back on track with that and your calls. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Oh, hold on. Phones are ringing off the hook.
This is Renee from Maryland.
What's your name? Renee from Maryland? What's on your mind, Renee?
Yeah, I want to discuss Ilhan Omar.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't like that term black and brown people. And when I look at Ilhan Omar, I see a complete fraud. And, most black people recognize the damage that these Somalis are unleashing in Minnesota. They are a liability and they're not an asset. What's more, a lot of Africans don't like black Americans. And whether they're from Somalia or Nigeria, I think they look at us suspiciously. So I've noticed that a lot of black people have been criticizing the Somalians, and many of them agree with Donald Trump, even though a lot of white liberals in the Democrat Party, like to classify us in this black and brown people.
Renee, I'm glad you bring this up. This is an important point. Years ago, Steve and I, we had a friend, Ronald, who's very liberal, and he's African American, right? And he always dreamed of going to Africa. And he saved up all of his money, sold everything he had, and moved to Africa and bought a chicken farm. And no one would buy his chickens or his eggs. And what he found, he said it's very, and this is what happened. He says it's tribal. They will only do business with people from their tribe. And when you talk about Somalians versus African Americans, even in the Somalian community in Minnesota, there's different Somalian tribes that are in conflict. So there's no what you're saying is there's no connection between Africans in Somalia and African Americans, that there's no bond between the two groups.
Exactly. And I find it insulting that a lot of Democrats automatically assume that, we're homogenous, like we all think alike and we're a monolith, which we are not. And I think they should just stop that. And when I look at Ilhan Omar also, and I keep asking myself, if she were living in Somalia or she was in an Arabian country, they just don't allow women to hold any kind of authoritative positions. But here she has it so good, but she constantly criticizes the country. And I honestly feel she should go back to her country. I don't know why they are allowing her to hold membership in Congress. She's not an American. She hates the country. And I agree totally with Donald Trump. I think she's trash.
The thing with Ilhan Omar, she's a millionaire many times over. And, and she's very pretty, okay? If she had stayed in Somalia, she'd still be pretty. She wouldn't be rich, and God only knows what her life would be like. I mean, she has benefited from the American dream, although through this corruption probably. But she has a life. She's wealthy. She's she's at the upper levels of our government. She's a member of the Congress, and she still hates the country and is pissed off all the time. And that really rubs Americans the wrong way. I don't understand that. I mean, she's got a great life because of our great country, and she hates us. She called us stupid the other day.
Yeah, and she's a hypocrite also, just like AOC. They're constantly criticizing white people who built the country. Oh, white men, they're a threat to society, and she's married to a white man, and I don't understand how these white people...
Isn't her husband Jewish? I think Ilhan Omar's husband's Jewish, too. Which surprised me.
Okay, well, I saw a picture of him. He looks white to me. So
Jews are white. Jews are white. Jews are white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I noticed that. But yeah. But she doesn't look, on television the last couple days, her arrogance is gone. She looks scared. She's got her hand in the cookie jar.
I can tell she's terrified because I think she's at a point now where she realizes that she cannot continue that, rhetoric of criticizing Donald Trump. Now I think she's really panicking now because there's a good chance that she may be deported.
Yeah.
And I hope it happens.
Well, Renee, I'm up against a break, but you're a very good caller. You call me again sometime. You have a lot to contribute.
Yeah, I'm not Renee from Harlem. I thought you probably heard the name, and you probably.
As soon as I heard Renee, I was like, "Oh, here we go again." But you're Renee from Harlem's voice is much more feminine than yours. Not an insult against you, but
Yeah, I agree. Okay, thanks, Brian.
All right, take care. Take care. Nice lady. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. The 8 o'clock hour is upon us. We'll take this show has gone by so fast. We'll be back with your calls after our top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere. Oh my goodness. Did you hear that? George Colony is involved in $1 billion business deal from somebody he met through this program. Holy smokes. You know, one of the things that amazes me when I meet people that are listeners to the you know, a lot of times, you know, you guys that listen, you hear these people like Renee and everything else. When you meet our real listeners, you'd be blown away by the people that listen to this program and who they are and what their background is, and it would blow you away. And it does me too. I mean, you know, who some of the people are in the audience, and what they do, and everything. I never have been not impressed when I meet our listeners off the air. I mean, and you hear who they are. It's crazy, completely insane. Oh. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, and I was going to take today off because I went to that Christmas party yesterday. That was my first holiday party of the year I went to last night, and it was amazing. It was a good first one. It's going to be, the rest of the year will be, of the holiday season will probably be a letdown because the first one was so good. I have lost track. Where am I here? Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll be back in less than a minute. This hour, I gotta be on time every break this hour. All right, stand by. If you're on hold, hang in there. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones. If you're on hold, stand by. I do want to do some recapping and what's going on with the pipe bomber, because this is just an amazing story and I don't want it to get lost. But first, you know, I went to my first holiday Christmas party last night. And, you know, let me tell you, when it comes to Christmas parties and holiday parties, it's like prom in high school. Everybody gets decked out and you want to look great. And, you know, you have time. It's December 5th. You have time to lose weight before these parties arrive for you. I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. It's absolutely amazing. It works. You know, I didn't starve myself. I was talking to somebody people ask me about it all the time. You know, no, there's no pills, no injections, none of that Ozempic and all that stuff. It's, you know, it's a natural thing. And by the way, no medications at all. I didn't starve myself. I eat foods I would normally eat. My first expectation was, when I first went over to Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I was going to have to starve myself, exercise like crazy, which I don't have time or want to do, and I was going to walk out with some specialty foods. No, I mean, I eat the stuff I would normally eat, no exercise, no medications. And remember, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you no matter where you are. Give them a call and set up your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. I want to share this. This is a while back. This is MSNBC back in 2022. They have that one of their resident Muslim anchors, this Hassan guy. This is 3 years ago, talking about the J6 pipe bomber.
Jelani, you're a black man. I'm a Muslim. When you consider how black criminals and Muslim terrorists are treated, both by the legal system and by the media, and yet the January 6th pipe bomber who laid explosives in front of the RNC and DNC headquarters still walks free. We just learned today that then Vice President-elect Harris was inside the DNC when the bomb was found there. We still don't take domestic terrorism of the far-right white variety seriously in this country, do we?
Now, this is crazy. Now, again, this is back in 22. The bomber's completely covered up. He just assumed he was a white guy. We found out he was black, and he's talking. This Hassan from MS now, but it was MSNBC then. He was at Zohan Mamdani's victory party. By the way, this guy from DNC, and what he this is crazy. It seems to me that there's a lot of black privilege going on out there, right? I believe that Chris Wray and the Biden administration had identified the bomber, found out he was black, didn't fit their narrative, and they didn't arrest him and didn't pursue it. Letitia James, she had her indictment thrown out, and another liberal grand jury refused to bring another mortgage fraud indictment. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
No, we don't. We've seen this since the Obama administration, where they pointed out that there was this rise of white nationalist terror, and that was promptly squashed and jumped upon by the Republicans in Congress. And so great cries of outrage in response to that. And this has been what we've seen since then. Nowhere near the level of alarm that we've had around the, what was the phrase they used, Islamic terror, that they were trying to make Barack Obama say all the time.
Yeah, it's just so depressing, the double standards. I don't know how many times you can draw attention to it. I, as a Muslim, keep drawing attention to it because it kills me.
Yeah, so, here they are. See, because they had this narrative of white nationalism that they were trying to spread with January 6th. White nationalism, Christian nationalism. That's why they let this guy get away with being a domestic terrorist. I mean, do you believe that Chris Wray and the Biden administration identified the J6 pipe bomber and let him go because he didn't fit their narrative? I believe so. Their plan was to classify the MAGA movement as a domestic hate group and terrorist organization and outlaw it. That's why they let this domestic terrorist get away with it for 5 years. Thank the Lord above, he didn't do anything else that we know of during that time. Although that could change. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Al. I've talked to you before. I'm from Illinois.
Hey, Al.
How are you doing today, Brian?
I'm doing.
Fantastic. Hey, I have one thing here. I'm kind of like you a little bit on a smaller scale in that I like to go on like podcasts with leftists and debate them, and try to.
You're not calling in to try to promote yourself, are you?
No. I don't have a podcast. Nothing like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that. I just want.
Right. The reason I do that, first of all, I want to tell people why I do. Number one, I can't promote things that I don't. Why I don't allow people to call in and promote themselves. If I don't know someone, how do I know what they're promoting? That's number one. Right? They could be Nazis for all I know. The other thing is. Promotion costs money on this program. So, we can't give free publicity for what people pay very good money to get, which is that. So that's why I always clamp down on that. Anyway, all right, so what's on your mind?
Yeah, I totally understand. I have no podcast. What I'd like to say is one thing that always comes up is they will say, well, what law are these sanctuary cities breaking and things like that?
Yes.
And I'd like people to know that U.S. Code Title 8, Section 1324 addresses the offenses related to bringing in and harboring certain aliens. Bringing in aliens. It's illegal to bring an alien into the U.S. without proper authorization, regardless of whether the alien has received prior authorization, and it is a violation of law. Harboring aliens. Engaging in activities that conceal, harbor, or shield an alien from detection is also prohibited. Violations can lead to severe penalties, including fines and imprisonment, depending on the circumstances.
Well, there's
of
a much. You're talking about the sanctuary cities. There's an easier way to explain that other than that. Okay. The illegals that are being rounded up are federal fugitives. Some of them are violent criminals and such. Some of them haven't shown up to court dates and have bench warrants and such, right? They're federal fugitives. So you cannot hide federal fugitives, right? If a bank robber, you can't let a bank robber move in with you and protect. Oh, a sanctuary house, no bank robbers allowed in this city. You can't harbor federal fugitives, and they are indeed federal fugitives. So that's,
Yes, and that's why I'm bringing up this specific law, because they say, oh, there's no law. There is a law, and that's it.
Are you a libertarian?
No, well, I'm a conservative, and populist.
Yeah, libertarian. Yeah, I knew you're a libertarian. You know how I knew you were a libertarian?
Why is that?
Because you're citing a statute. That's what libertarians do.
Well, I mean, I'm not totally focused on this or anything, but I think it does have a part to play in the information that conservatives, libertarians, whoever is against this kind of massive illegal alien. It's nice to have a few facts, like actual laws on your side. It's not the only tool in our toolbox, but it's something that we do have. This is
all right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. I saw this on CNN. I wanted to share this with you guys. These are two Somali women in Minneapolis, and the ICE raids have been taking place in Minnesota against the Somali illegals up there. Listen to this.
A lot of people haven't been leaving their home for work or making a living, so it's very unfortunate and very sad.
I feel like it's sad to see everyone inside. Right now, this is very empty for this area, especially this place, to be this quiet, nobody walking around, I think is insane.
Sarah, we went to Carmel Mall. That's really the heart of the Somali community here in Minneapolis. It is normally bustling. There are people everywhere as these shop owners, try to make a living here in America, and it was virtually empty. Most of the people that we spoke with were people who work there, and that was pretty jarring for the people who know that that is normally a very vibrant place. The city.
Yeah, see, hear that? So ICE is hard at work in Minnesota, and they are doing good work. And like Los Angeles, they're hiding out at home, which probably makes it easier for ICE to locate them. Yeah, because they know where they live in a lot of instances. And it shows you how much of this community is illegal. The only people that aren't going out are the people that are going to get rounded up because they're in the country illegally. So don't let them tell you that they're all Americans here legally. If they're here legally, why are they hiding out? Exactly. Now, I've been telling you, this is one of the great Christmas gifts that you can get for yourself or your family, and the price is so incredibly low. Listen to this. The Sloman's Home Security offer is a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. That's amazing. It's a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door window sensors, a motion detector, notification, and remote keypad access, so you can check your in no matter where you are in town or even out of the country. And this is a great Christmas gift for yourself in your own home, for your family. But you can also get this for your grandparents, your adult children that live out of the house, your mom, your dad. This is a great gift. Give Sloman's a call, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. Okay, we'll be back shortly. Oh, man. We got it just over a minute.
Good morning.
Hey, Brian. It's Brian. We have just about a minute. I'm going to put you on hold, okay?
Perfect.
Right,
Thank
hold
you.
on, Barry. All right, we're back, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing this morning?
I am doing well. It's Friday. It's got to be good. What do you have for us this morning, Barry?
Well, at the Siegel Law Group, we do estate planning, elder law, and probate trust administration. And one of the questions I often get is, well, is there another way to avoid probate? Can't I just put a beneficiary on my account, or can I just put my son or daughter's name on the account as a joint owner, and wouldn't that avoid probate? And the answer is yes, you could do that. And although the trust, one of the major benefits of it, there's many others, but one of them is avoiding probate, then why would you do that if you could just simply put a beneficiary or joint owner on it? And the answers are as follows. Number one, if you put a joint owner on, especially like a child, you are adding their liability to your asset. So anything they do, anything they do, if they get into an accident and get sued, or any other circumstance where they get sued, now your asset is vulnerable to that. And then as far as beneficiary designations, while that works, number one, it won't work on on real estate. You can't just put a beneficiary on it. There are things that we can do to do that. However, it's not automatic. You can't just name a beneficiary on it. Number two, you lose out on some of the benefits that you would have with the trust, such as the lifetime benefits of avoiding guardianship. And then finally, you also lose out on the benefits of the bloodline protection, because if you leave the asset to your loved one in their name with the beneficiary designation, it's an outright distribution, no bloodline protection, no protection from divorces, lawsuits, creditors, bankruptcies, people dying in the wrong order, and the assets going sideways to other families, all because we were trying to do it the easier way, or the more convenient way, or to save a few dollars, but in the long run, you're losing out on a lot of protections and a lot of things there. So that's the answer to those questions.
And it's becoming marital property, right, in a lot of these instances, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, because if it's an outright distribution, very likely can become a joint asset of your child's and the in-law. So now if they get divorced, those assets can become vulnerable to a divorce.
Absolutely. Well, listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call and set up your no-charge in-office consultation. The number is toll-free 855-FLA-3782. That's 855-FLA-3782. And online at SiegelLawGroup.com. SiegelLawGroup.com, spelled SIEGEL. I met one of your happy clients last night at a party, Barry. They were just raving and raving about what a great job you did for them.
Well, that's great to hear. I have to, the funny thing is, if you have another moment, I ran into the lady who did the audio testimonial that you're running in the ads.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a restaurant and she called me over. She was at a table of like 10 ladies. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the one who did the testimonial. You guys were great." And she's telling all of her friends there. And then she's like, "This is Barry Siegel," and several of them. "Oh, I know you. I know you. I know you. I need to come in and see you."
That's right.
So it was really cute.
Well, let me tell you, and I just say this because we're getting close to the end of the year, and this is really the time to call the Siegel Law Group. And Barry's been with us for many years, and I meet listeners all the time that are clients. I have never heard anything but praise about Attorney Barry Siegel and your staff. People are very impressed with your staff, very impressed with you. And believe me, if they had gripes, they'd tell me, Barry. And that's really great to hear when you're dealing with an attorney. When you're dealing with an attorney to get so much praise is very unusual. All right, so anyway, give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, and online, siegellawgroup.com. All right, Barry, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
You too, Brian. Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Take care. Did you guys see the Christmas tree lighting? I wanted to share this at the White House. The National Christmas Tree lighting with the president. And President Trump did something that I don't know if I've ever seen another president do. Ever. Listen.
Holy season, Christians everywhere rejoice at the miracle in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago when the Son of God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ came.
Okay, now I want to stop there. I'm not going to interrupt the president with the prayer. This is amazing to hear a president talk about Jesus and not a generic guy. There's a lot of times when people in government, when they talk about Jesus, they use coded language. They'll say the Lord instead of Jesus because they don't want to offend. Or they do these things and they have like this whole lineup of different people. They'll have a Catholic priest. They'll have a rabbi. They'll have a Greek Orthodox guy. They'll have an evangelical. They have like 10 guys lined up from different denominations and different religions, and they do this generic thing, even at Christmas time. And maybe it's happened before in recent years, but I don't have a memory of talk so plainly from our president talking about Jesus by name. And it's very amazing. And another thing about it, in the first campaign, there was so much to do about whether he was a Christian or not. Like all of a sudden, they were telling us he was not a Christian and we shouldn't support. President Trump is a great Christian. And you know what? One of the things I respect about President Trump and his Christianity, he doesn't wear it on his sleeve. And that's how I am with mine. I'm a very strong Christian. I pray every single day. I don't talk about it a lot, but neither does the president. And a lot of these politicians, whenever they talk about God, they use the generic, the Lord God, and all of this. And to hear him say Jesus Christ by name is it's beautiful and amazing.
During this holy season, Christians everywhere rejoice at the miracle in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago when the Son of God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, came down from heaven to be with us. You're right. Full of grace and truth, he brought the gift of God's love into the world and the promise of salvation for every person and every nation. And we just settled another war today. You saw that with Rwanda and the Congo. It's been going on for 34 years. Millions of people killed. Could be 20 million. They don't know what the number is, and we just settled it today. That was a big one. We're very happy to announce it on this important day. Tonight, this beautiful evergreen tree glows bright on the dark and cold winter night and reminds us of the words of Gospel of John, "In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind." Beautiful words. With the birth of Jesus, human history turned from night to day. His word and his example call us to love one another, to serve one another, and to honor the sacred truth that every child is specially made in the image of God.
I mean, isn't that refreshing? It really, truly is. And this is just something we've not experienced with a president in really a long time. This is a presidency that you've got to savor every moment of it. You really do. There's never going to be another president that comes anywhere near the greatness of this guy who's doing these things. A couple weeks ago, he was on Air Force One and he was talking about whether or not he was going to go to heaven. And probably, when he said that, President Trump, on Air Force One a couple weeks ago, he probably authorized one of those drug boat attacks. And he, as a president, he's ordering military actions that result in the death of people. And I think in a way he's a conscientious objector. I think he's doing the right thing, but people are dying from his order. And I think that's what he was talking about. But think about how many lives he's saving when he does that. I'm just blown away and impressed by that. And he certainly deserves the credit. I got to take this break on time, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. A couple days ago, I got a call from one of our listeners who went over to Life Imaging FLA and had the heart scan, and they found something. He didn't tell me specifically what it was, but it was concerning. He took the results to his doctor, and his doctor got him on a medication, and he got his heart right. He caught it. That's what Life Imaging FLA is all about, preventative health care. And December's the deadliest time of year for heart attacks. According to the American Heart Association, more people die from heart attacks during the last week of December than any other time of the year. Christmas Day and New Year's Day are the worst. That's why Life Imaging FLA offers free heart scans with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. While you're there, ask about their full-body cancer screening so you get that ultimate peace of mind. Or find out about something before it becomes a more serious problem like our listener who called me a couple days ago did. Life Imaging FLA, they're all about proactive health care. They're saving lives before symptoms even appear. This December, give yourself the gift of health and maybe even life. Schedule your scan today. Enjoy the holiday season with confidence. Pick up your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. They have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this.
Sometimes the hardest thing to ask for is help. And yet behind closed doors, millions of families are struggling with the basics. The light bill, the rent, the phone that keeps them connected to work and school. Not because they failed, but because life hits hard. That's why there's CloakedCare.com, a first-of-its-kind platform built on dignity, privacy, and real compassion. At CloakedCare.com, people can privately post the essential bills they're fighting to keep up with. Utilities, medical cost, rent, phone, and more. And donors can choose a bill and pay directly toward it, with funds sent straight to the verified service providers. There's no uncertainty, no middlemen, just real help for real needs. CloakedCare.com was founded by Marine Corps veteran Leighton Clybourne and was named the best anonymous bill payment service in the United States for 2025, honoring its transparent and innovative approach to modern giving. At CloakedCare.com, every contribution makes a measurable impact, keeping a home warm, a phone connected, or the lights on during a tough month. It's people helping people quietly, respectfully, transparently. CloakedCare.com. That's CloakedCare. Visit today to ask for help or to be the help someone's been praying for. CloakedCare.com. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, we are about 30 seconds away. We'll be back on the radio. Oh, my goodness. What a mess. Okay. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Tony at Margate.
Hey, Tony. What's on your mind?
Well, just as an aside, I'm going to my first Christmas party tonight.
Yes.
And I'm really excited because the performer is going to be Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh my! Is Casey still around?
Amazingly, Brian, yeah, he is, and he's performing tonight.
That's amazing.
Going to, so
that sounds pretty cool. You're going to a fancy party.
I'm looking forward to it. That's all I can say. Very much looking forward to that.
I would be, yeah.
But Brian, let me get to the point. I want to ask you a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. Brian, do you think Donald Trump is perfect?
He's no. There was only one man who was perfect. His name was Jesus, but he's as close to perfection as any man I know living today.
Is there anything about Donald Trump that you don't like, or anything that he's done or said that you disagree with?
Yes.
Can you give us an example?
Absolutely. I think he works too long hours. I think 20 hours a day is too much. I think he needs to cut back to 16 or 18. He needs a couple hours more sleep to make America great again. I think he works himself too hard to make America great again. Yes.
Brian, that's a compliment. That's a compliment. I was looking for more of a criticism.
Well, he's not getting enough sleep. He needs another hour or two a night. Scott Besson said he calls him at 10 to 2 in the morning and wakes him up out of bed. He works too hard.
That's a compliment.
Can you tell me something you like about the president?
Oh yeah, I think I could tell you a lot of things. I'm very happy that he shut down the border. I think it's amazing that he's stopped, or at least stalled, a lot of the conflicts going on around the world.
Okay, well that's all good. So why are you so obsessed to try to get someone like me to criticize him? Why is that important to you?
Well, the thing is, I've heard you say this a few times, where if someone says they voted for Trump, but then they criticize him, you say, no, there can't be any buts. No buts.
That's right. Not this term. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
You know,
See, everything, this is what you got to understand. Everything he is doing, everything he is doing in this second term is they shot him in Butler to try to stop him from doing it, and they assassinated Charlie Kirk to try to stop him from doing the things he's doing too. And the Never-Trumpers, the same people that killed Kennedy, the same people that killed Martin Luther King. Yeah.
Can you give me names?
Names? No.
Yeah. Really? So these people have been around since Martin Luther King.
No, before the same people,
And you can't name
the same people that shot President Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, Martin Luther King, President Trump, and Charlie Kirk. It's the same people. The permanent Washington class.
You realize that these people would be in their hundreds or close to 100 to have been involved in the Martin Luther King assassination and Charlie Kirk's.
Charlie Kirk and no, yeah, I don't mean the same exact people. All right, what I mean is the same. It's the same. It's the same cabal of people: the deep state, the permanent Washington class, donors, people like that. You know what I'm talking about. Don't be stupid. Don't say. You know what I mean.
When you say, but when you say stuff like that, you know what I think of? I think of the Illuminati.
It's not the Illuminati. It's the Democrat. It's Democrats. You know, Democrats killed Lincoln. Democrats killed Lincoln too.
We're way off the main.
No, Democrats kill people. Democrats have a long history of killing people to get their agenda through.
When I listen to you, I hear you presenting Donald Trump as being perfect. I think you do believe he's perfect.
He's as perfect. He's as perfect as of a man as you can possibly be. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke.
According to you, he's never wrong. He's never done anything wrong. According to you, Donald Trump is perfect. That's the message that you send every day.
Hmm?
And it's delusional. It's delusional.
You sound like the one that's got some kind of psychological issues, not me.
You can accuse me of whatever you want. I'm just
you just sound a little unhinged. You don't sound totally rational.
I'm a perfectly rational person. I think you know why.
Well, being irrational, oftentimes, tell me
what I said.
It's not what I said that makes me irrational. It's not what you've said.
What have I said
you have almost an obsession with trying to get criticism of President Trump, and it's not going to happen. You're either with Trump or you're against him in this second term. There is no if you're either with him or you're not MAGA.
The reason I'm not MAGA, the reason I'm not MAGA is because of this attitude that you and many others have that he cannot be criticized.
See, what you don't understand. Okay, this is what you don't understand. No, let me explain.
It's a delusional.
No, let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, hold on a second. President Trump. Let me explain. No, hold on. Let me explain to you. Hold on. I want to explain to you why I say that.
Including Donald John Trump.
Okay, I want to explain why I say that.
There's nothing wrong.
I want to explain myself so maybe you can understand. President Trump is in his second term. I hope he gets a third term, okay? But what happens in the midterms and in 28 is an unknown. What we know is that he's president now, right? We could lose the midterms. We could gain seats in the midterms. 2028, who knows? Maybe Trump will get a third term. Maybe he won't. You know, maybe his successor will win. Maybe they won't. What we do know is he's president now. We control the White House, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. This country is messed up. We were run by people that let a domestic terrorist get away with domestic terrorism because he's a black man, the J6 pipe bomber, all right, that's in the news today. And I'm not going to go through a list of examples. This country is messed up. President Trump is resetting the entire nation. He's got a short window, the first 2 years of the second term, that we know for certainty he can get everything through that he needs to get done to save this country from these evildoers that shot him, tried to kill him again, killed Charlie Kirk, let the pipe bomber get away with it, all this crap, okay? Let Letitia do her mortgage fraud and all this. Let Comey and Obama lead their coups and all this stuff. We have just over a year left that we know for sure we're going to have control over every branch of government. And there's a lot that's got to be done in those 2 years. And no, anyone who criticizes him or slows him down from doing what he's got to do in these 2 years, you're not MAGA. The stakes are too high. This is not a normal presidency.
I agree with that 150%. I've never seen anything like it in my entire lifetime. I'll say that frankly. I'm 60. I'm going to be 65 in less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Brian. I guess the only thing I'm trying to say here is that Donald Trump is not perfect. There are things that he's done a lot of things that I agree with that I like.
No one says he's perfect. I told you there was only one man who was perfect, Jesus. I told you that at the beginning of the call.
Yeah, you did say that, but Brian, this whole idea that you can't criticize the president, that's where I part company with you.
You can, but then you're not MAGA. If you're MAGA, you don't criticize. I just explained why. And I think that's a very good case I made.
I'm not MAGA.
No kidding. I knew you weren't MAGA when you told me your name and at the beginning of the call. Okay, I just didn't want to get bogged down on that.
Yeah, because I believe that if the president makes a mistake, you should be able to criticize him, and you shouldn't hold back.
You can.
And I think
I didn't say that people shouldn't criticize him. I say I will not, and if you do, you're not MAGA, and you say you're not MAGA. So there you go. Criticize, oppose making America great again, if that makes you feel important and independent and manly.
No, I don't oppose making America great again. I just don't.
If you oppose Trump, you're opposing making America great again.
I don't worship Trump like he's God, and you do. That's where we part company.
I don't worship him as a God. I don't worship him.
Brian.
I admire him and I respect him.
Brian, everything, your whole worldview goes through Donald Trump. If Trump says it's good, you love it. If he says it's bad, you hate it.
Yes.
It all goes through Trump.
Yes.
He's your God, Brian.
No, he's not my God.
You have him.
Nope, he's not. He's not a God.
Said yes.
I know you want to. I know you want to believe that, but he's not a. He's not a God, and no.
Well, Brian, but you talk about him like he is.
You keep saying that I view him as a God and perfect, and I keep telling you no, and you just keep repeating the lie over and over, hoping people will believe it. Hey, listen, thanks for the call, Goebbels. If you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. It's Friday. Don't start the weekend in pain. Go see Dr. Appleton. Walk-ins are always welcome. Appointments are never necessary, even on Saturdays with Dr. Appleton. His laser away pain treatment repairs the damage in your body that's causing you the pain. That's why the 7 times that he's treated me for injuries or aging or from accident, all this stuff, the pains have never returned, including the first pain he rid me of 3.5 years ago, because he repairs the damage that's causing me the pain. The arthritis is the one. The arthritis blew me away because I just thought arthritis. I thought I was done. When Dr. Appleton examined me and said, Brian, you've got arthritis in your hand. And I could just remember my grandmother, whose hands were useless by the time she passed. She had arthritis in all of her fingers and all this stuff. And I said, I'm done, Doc. He says, no. He says, the robotic laser treats arthritis. I said, okay. 2 treatments, arthritis pain gone. Give him a call. Take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. If you're on hold, stand by. Back after this. Every line's lit, guys. All right, we have 1 minute.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to keep you on here. I'm not going to put you on hold, but we got just under a minute.
Okay.
All right, we're back. It's time for the final gold and precious metals report of the week from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated on the first floor of the Bank of America building in Boca. William Youngerman, how are the metals ending up the week?
Ending up strong, Brian. The metals have had a good week this week. A lot of sideways action, which is very good for building a strong base for the metals. And the silver and the gold have been doing exactly that, and even platinum staying above that $1,600 number. So we saw gold yesterday trade in a range of $41.75 on the low all the way up to $42.20, closing out the day at $42.0720, which was up $5.10. Silver was down $1.38 at $57.05. Platinum was down $28 at $16.43, and palladium was down $18 at $14.28. In a push to regain all those losses, we see gold up $24 this morning.
Wow! At
$4,231.20, $42.31.20, up $24, trading in a range overnight of $41.94 to $42.40. Right now, silver's up $1.15, regaining most of yesterday's losses, back up over $58 at $58.20 the ounce, up $1.15. Platinum up $3 at $1,646. And palladium up $12 at $1,440. So a good week for the precious metals, nicely above the $4,200, and not just, but only maybe $100 or so away from our all-time highs. So
that's amazing.
Gold and the precious metals are performing excellent, and I believe the stage is set for possibly even new record highs before we get out of this into the new year.
This is a beautiful time. Obviously we talk about buying the metals all the time, but one of the things you do, William, we don't talk about too much. There are a lot of people that are into the, not the investing part of the metals, but the collecting of coins and monies and stuff. And you help people that are into collections. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Absolutely. We deal with a lot of collectors and in almost all the realms. We have in stock coins from the ancient world, Greece, Roman, all the way to modern times. There's hardly any area of numismatics that we don't have in stock to offer collectors. And if we don't have it, we can certainly get it through our large network of dealers and auctions that we are part of and participate in all around the world. So, yep, we're happy to build a collection and make it something that you can pass on to generations to be very proud of.
Yeah, and people call you that are looking for a particular coin or a bill or something like, and you can help people track down that missing part of their collection they're looking to fill, right?
Absolutely, yes. As I said, we have a large network of dealers that we're part of that we can just about find anything you're looking for.
Yeah.
Of course, don't forget that we also have our own collection on our display through our virtual museum online at hometowncurrency.org. Hometowncurrency.org has the largest collection of Florida numismatics ever assembled. It's the largest collection of Florida paper money, tokens, everything about Florida you can imagine. Over 144 different categories of Florida financial instruments are covered in our museum collection.
Absolutely. Check that out. And one last thing I just want to mention. You mentioned about the auctions. People, you don't want to do that on your own, guys. You make sure people are paying the right amount for these things, because you go to the auctions. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yes, absolutely. The auctions can be a great way to acquire things, but they're very difficult and dangerous for people who don't know what they're doing to get caught up in that. So that's why we work with the clients and do the bidding for you so that you don't get caught up in auction mania and end up paying twice what you should be paying for an item. Patience and putting together your collection over a period of time is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And we guide you along those lines to prevent you from the pitfalls that there are in collecting anything.
So William Youngerman does it all, and as you can see, and there's still much more that he does other than what we've mentioned here, but they open up at 10, so give them a call. The number is toll-free 800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, located in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And you can find both the address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk on Monday.
Okay, have a wonderful weekend.
All right, take care. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, I think that your theory on the bomber, I think, is pretty plausible. I think there's a number of things that were going on here. I mean, this was the the Biden administration after all when all this stuff happened. But I think he could be part. To me, I've always thought of him as being part of the op, but he could be a lone wolf or programmed. And
well, the grandmother says he kind of has Down syndrome. His grandmother said yesterday to a reporter, "This guy's perfect for their recruitment." Patsies don't know they're patsies necessarily.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing because he's a perfect target for use and not without really knowing it, because it always kind of why put a bomb at both at both. It basically to create chaos, to pull people away. The whole thing to me. There's maybe a few people, to me, I think it was an op, and a few people knew who this guy was, but it wasn't because of the FBI. I think the narrative at the time, Trump's special forces, attacking the Capitol with MAGA hats, that, the white supremacy traitors,
yes.
Hitler, all that stuff was working, and the lawfare, and they just, why mess?
Well, guys, I want you to think what a local. I can't remember who found the pipe bombs. Was it a local cop? I don't remember.
I don't either.
But the pipe bombs got discovered early in the morning. So, I mean, I want you guys to imagine, as bad as what they did on January 6th was, what would have happened if 2 bombs went off at the political headquarters on top of everything else? Where would the country be today? Right? And if you remember with what happened already, they cut President Trump off from communication. He was the sitting president. They cut him off all the media, television, online. He was basically isolated in the White House. He couldn't even hardly make a phone call during the chaos. And if 2 bombs went off,
a lot of things were going on with J6.
Heck yeah.
They pulled a lot of people in. They got them into a confined area, and then all it takes is a few provocateurs. I mean, to me, BLM, Antifa, intelligence agencies. There were so many of them involved in all that crap. Just stir it up, and then they've got their show to paint a picture how they want. They write the history through the history of the day
right.
through the media.
Listen, I'm up against the clock, so I got to run. So I'll give you the last word.
Well, I'm glad they caught this guy. I think Bongino, Pam, and Dan, Kash,
have redeemed
Pam,
themselves.
Kash, and Dan.
They've been redeemed.
They're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been redeemed. I was going to take off today because I told you I had my first holiday Christmas party last night, and I was up many hours past my bedtime to be here. But I'm here today, and I am so energetic. You know why that is? Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and I lost all this weight. Before I lost all this weight, I would not have had the energy to be up as late as I was last night and up at 2 a.m. and here with you guys today on the show. It's amazing. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. When I went to this holiday party last night, everybody was decked out in their best. Holiday parties are like proms. Everyone, they get all dressed up and everything. You want to look great. You have time to lose that weight before your New Year's party, before your Christmas party, your family events. Remember, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you no matter where you are in the United States. Give them a call, 561-247-6300, 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you today?
All right.
I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about when I saw that tape of President Trump's statement that Jesus Christ is his Lord and Savior.
Beautiful.
At a massive public forum. Incredible. Prophetic implications are used. We were told that a giant spiritual revival is about to take place in this country. I didn't think that President Trump would actually be part of it, but it looks like he may be. I mean, this guy is such a leader on many fronts. He's transparent. And now for him to make that public statement, I have never heard a president make a statement like that.
No, I haven't
Not
either.
With that passion.
They might tell a generic story about the wise men or something, but that was from the heart. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yes. It's a public testimony at a huge public forum. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I mean, you talk about a leader. I mean, this guy.
But I do believe, though, he's got some worries that ordering deadly military actions.
Yeah.
He's almost, he's a conscientious objector. I can tell.
Right.
But he's doing what he's got to do, and I mean that's how I feel.
Well, he's kind of put into that situation as a commander-in-chief, and he takes that very seriously. But his expression of faith, Brian, I mean, it was incredible. This guy is the real deal.
This is a pet peeve of mine, but I hate when people generically, they're afraid to say Jesus or Jesus Christ, so they say the Lord. Right. And I know there's nothing wrong with saying the Lord, but a lot of times people say the Lord because they're afraid to say Jesus.
That's right. That's right. Now we have somebody leading us who, in the White House, who is expressing this, and this is a great moment. This is a great moment. A public statement like that with the passion and everything, and the timing of it at that occasion. I mean, he is.
I think
amazing.
Melania is Catholic. Is Melania Catholic? I think she's Catholic. She's definitely Christian, religious. Melania.
Yeah. I mean, just I had several things I was going to talk about, but when I heard that put everything off. That statement is one of the most important statements I've heard him make in this administration.
Usually what happens when you get somebody at that level, they read a very generic Bible story about the manger and all, basically the little drummer boy, and it's just so generic, and they go through, it's going through the motions, and I just felt he was sending a message.
He was sending a message. He's the real deal. He's not hiding anything. This is what I am. And boy, how I appreciated him coming with that statement was just incredible. I mean, usually do, like you say, a generic little statement.
What was the other thing on your mind? You said you had something else, but that blew you away.
Well, it's completely different. I was watching the mayor of L.A. celebrate it. They finally got one house fixed in Pacific Palisades. 5,000 houses are there. The people have been waiting for 11 months to finally get one house fixed. And they're celebrating they got one house fixed. At that rate, it's only going to take them 5,000 years to completely renovate Pacific Palisades. How can you live in a blue state anymore? There's no way.
California, I'm telling you, in the next couple of election cycles, it's going to become a toss-up state. Again, it really is. And the reason is the deportations, and you see the stories. I follow the local news in LA, and it's fascinating to watch that. If you're looking for work and you can't find work, go to Southern California. No, the illegals aren't showing up to work because they're afraid of getting deported, and that's going to it's having a major change. All right, listen, I got to run, but appreciate the call.
Okay, Brian,
right.
have a good.
Listen, it's been a great show today. I'm glad I did come in because I wasn't going to, and I'm very glad I did. The calls today have been really good and spectacular, and I do appreciate that, guys. I do want to mention the Sloman's Security free home security system offer with professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. This is a great Christmas gift, guys, okay? Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access. Get this as a gift for yourself and your home, for your family. Get it for your adult children. Get it for your grandparents. For just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Great gift. Give them a call. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. All right, guys, that's it for the week. Thanks so much. And, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel have been redeemed. They did great work finding the needle in the haystack of this evidence and have opened the door to a great unraveling of everything January 6th and the real story of what happened. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll see you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Have a great weekend. All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. If you know me, I'll be around all weekend long with live streams and podcasts, so keep an eye out for that. But I am starting to run out of energy since I got very little sleep last night. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, please like the video, all right? And if you could share on your socials, that helps so much. Spread the word about the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.